Hokage I can fully level up with one click. Chapter 121-140. Chapter 121 Freshman Graduation Assessment. Chin-Yu, what mission is this? There was a hint of worry on Uchiha Fugaku's face. He was afraid that something would happen to Chin-Yu, but he was also worried that he would be treated unfairly. I'll take a look first. Chin-Yu untied the scroll, looked at the content on it, and smiled helplessly. Chin-Yu, what's the matter? If the task is too much, I will help you get one or two. Uchiha Fugaku's nerves tensed. The moment I saw the scroll, I couldn't help but be stunned. Graduation assessment for freshmen. Right. Third generation of Hokage had prepared for Chin-Yu was the freshman assessment. The Third Ninja War seems to be drawing to a close. But as a result, tens of thousands of human lives were piled up. At the same time, they are constantly being recruited, and these new students go to the battlefield. Chin-Yu, are you sure? If not, you can push this task away. Uchiha Fugaku was also a little surprised. However, facing this kind of freshman graduation assessment, he also felt a headache. No, it's very interesting. Let me give this group of bastards a profound graduation assessment. Chin-Yu smiled genially. He drank the milk in one gulp, took the bread and left. This scene made Uchiha Fugaku shudder, and there was a chill in his spine. When he thought that Chin-Yu liked to act out of common sense, he couldn't help but quickly followed. The Konoha Ninjutsu Academy was the first to establish a standardized teaching base when the second generation of Hokage was in power. Taught by professional teachers, the scope of knowledge coverage will be larger. However, since it is a greenhouse guide, in such a time of war, it is more than the blood fog of Kurigakure village. There is also the prevalence of martial arts in Kumogakure village, and the hard stone test in Iwagakure village. The elite route of Sunagakure village is obviously inferior. However, in the long run, the development of the ninjutsu school will become more comprehensive, so that everyone has the opportunity to become a ninja. Itachi, didn't you come to class this time alone? In front of the gate of the ninjutsu school, Uchiha Izumi suddenly appeared. A pair of watery eyes kept looking behind Itachi, and clenched the lunchbox in his hand. Don't look, my brother is not here, he is still sleeping. Uchiha Itachi said with a blank expression. In the original novel, he was single by virtue of his strength. Except when acting as the pet of the younger brother, there will be other expressions. Usually, his face is cold and he can't be interested in anything. Itachi, what nonsense are you talking about? I didn't wait for big brother you. Uchiha Izumi lowered his head. You, he said with a face. Today is the graduation exam for the senior year, do you want to watch it? Itachi, don't go too fast, can I go to your house after school? Since today was the graduation exam, dozens of students gathered on the playground early in the morning. It's just that during the war, when the manpower was completely insufficient, even most of the teachers of the ninjutsu school were recruited. This time, there are only a few people who can come to lead the class. Among them, the temporary headmaster of the ninjutsu school is Sarutobi Shinosuke. And Yamanaka Inoichi of the class teacher and teacher. As a member of Ino Shikucho, the two are also the brains of the Konoha Shinobi village, so it is at the same time that they make plans in the rear. There is also a part-time school teacher. There are so many people who graduated this year, 48 people in total. Yamanaka Inoichi is 2 or 3 years older than Namikaze Minato. Looking at the group of freshmen in front of them, who were still fighting, the excitement on their faces made them feel helpless. Well, the number of people seems to be a lot, but according to the current changes on the battlefield, this is a drop in the bucket, not to mention that if they really want to grow up, I am afraid they will need a trial of blood and fire. Nara Shikaku sighed helplessly. Recalling that they graduated at the same time as them, hundreds of people have now entered the battlefield, and very few can come back alive. As the brains of the Konoha ninja village, they clearly know that the establishment of the ninja school is to give everyone the opportunity to become a ninja world. Also increase the delivery of the number of ninjas. Unfortunately, in the face of the elite route taken by the other 4 villages, it has fallen behind. Okay, don't worry too much. Now that the war is coming to an end, they may not need to go to the battlefield. Sarutobi Shinosuke said. There are also many outstanding students in this class of freshmen. What Shinosuke said is not wrong. If we let the students hear our conversation, I'm afraid it will be a big problem. Yamanaka Inoichi came back to his senses and looked around the field. In my class, there are Ibiki, Tanbo, Mizuki, Steel, and Uruka. Haha, when it comes to top students, my class is more than yours. Nara Shikaku laughed dryly and said, Anujuo Genma, Kamizuki Izumo, Inazuka Yoshino, and Sarutobi Asuma. Their strengths are all first-class existences. Among the freshmen, they can definitely be called outstanding. Looking at the 2 teachers, who directly turned on the tout mode, Sarutobi Shinosuke shook his head helplessly, and said, why hasn't the invigilator consultant arrived yet? You said, Jiraiya-sama, and Tsunade-sama are both in Konoha, who will be the invigilator this time. In previous graduation assessments, in order to maintain fairness and openness, Hokage will select the most powerful and prestigious people from the clan to invigilate the examinations. Last time, it was Minato invigilating the exam. I still remember how many freshmen cheered when Konoha Yellow Flash came on the stage, and they even had to hold back their strength to perform. Yamanaka Inoichi said with a big laugh. That year of freshmen graduating is probably the most lively one. Time passed quickly under the conversation of the 3 of them. Looking at the time for the assessment, the invigilator had not yet arrived. Sarutobi Shinosuke's brows furrowed involuntarily. 3 teachers, long time no see. A pretty voice suddenly sounded from behind. The 3 of Sarutobi Shinosuke were stunned at first, but when they saw the person coming, they couldn't help but startled. Kushina, are you the proctor this time? Yamanaka Inoichi was startled. Uzumaki Kushina can be said to be not much different in age from them, and it is the same age as Namikaze Minato. However, because of her status as a Jinchuriki column force, she has been trapped in the Konoha ninja village all the year round. Her strength and prestige are obviously a bit insufficient compared to previous invigilators. Don't get me wrong, I came here to carry out the task of maintaining order according to Lord Hokage's order. Uzumaki Kushina clearly guessed their intention and explained anxiously. Maintain order. Yamanaka Inoichi and others couldn't help but startled. Kushina, you mean, the people who came this time have caused a sensation that even Minato can't compare? Sarutobi said with a frown. Now in the minds of the freshmen of Konoha Shinobi Village, I am afraid that even the prestige of Jiraiya and Tsunade-sama cannot be compared with Minato. Nara Shikaku, who was beside him, nodded in agreement. In the rumors of the outside world, Namikaze Minato is not only powerful, but also handsome and gentle, and it is the #1 nympho list. These advantages alone are not comparable to ordinary people. Don't look at me, I was also temporarily notified, otherwise I wouldn't have to leave the bed early in the morning. Uzumaki Kushina yawned. As a human Jinchuriki column force, there is no need to perform tasks and cannot leave the village yet. It felt like being in captivity. Chapter 122 It's all trash. Teacher, I'm here to apply for early graduation. Uchiha Itachi's voice suddenly sounded. At this moment, it was like a hurricane passing through, making everyone stunned. In their eyes, Uchiha Itachi is a freshman. In a ninjutsu school, it's a 3-year system. Individually talented ninjas with outstanding strength. For example, Kakashi, Namikaze Minato, etc. all graduated 1 year early. However, it was the first time that a freshman like Uchiha Itachi asked to graduate. What arrogant Uchiha brat is. Last time we couldn't beat a shadow clone, next time we must get our revenge. He is only in the first year, and he plans to apply for graduation early. Does he think he can be better than Kakashi? Kakashi graduated early 2 years ago, and it was a shock to their group of first-year students. After all, that was White Fang's son, not the same as the outcast Uchiha clan. Itachi, the last time you came to school with Shadow Clone, it was already a big mistake. Now you want to graduate early, which is not in line with the rules. Sarutobi Shinosuke frowned. As the principal, he is also the eldest son of 3 generations of Hokage. In the face of a little kid who is only 6 or 7 years old, he used Shadow Clone to fool the class under his own eyes. The reason is that the subjects studied are too boring. This is a shame for their group of teachers. If, now also promised Uchiha Itachi to participate in the graduation examination to graduate early. Even more slaps in the face. Yes, this hateful Uchiha clan is not qualified to participate in the assessment at all. It would be an insult to the school if a person taking Shadow Clone classes could be allowed to graduate early. Quote. A series of objections sounded one after another in the field. A Uchiha Shisui, hailed as a genius. This has deepened their hostility towards the Uchiha clan. Finally, Uchiha Shisui hoped to go away. Now there is another Uchiha Itachi competing with them. This is something they absolutely don't allow. He's eligible to graduate. The unpredictable voice made everyone in the field suddenly tense. But the moment they saw the person coming, everyone's pupils suddenly shrank. It's the bloody Asura, Uchiha Chinyu. The exclamation came out among the graduates, like an invisible big hand, tightening the heart. Sarutobi Shinosuke's expression froze. He had been in contact with Chinyu. Is also the eldest son of the 3rd generation of Hokage. Of course, he knows his horror. He said anxiously, Uchiha Chinyu, this doesn't seem to be a place for you to come. Brother. Uchiha Itachi was also surprised. As soon as he opened his mouth, he saw Chinyu's right hand slammed. The sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded, and a black shadow swept out of the sky. The enemy. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked nervous and exclaimed. However, he soon saw Kushina flickered and grabbed the scroll first. Stop screaming, this is the Hokage appointment letter. After Uzumaki Kushina threw the scroll to Sarutobi Shinosuke, he looked at Chinyu. Are you the rumored villain? You're not bad looking. It's all right. Chinyu smiled warmly and said, I'm the graduate assessor this time, so whether Itachi can graduate or not is up to me. As soon as these words fell, there was an uproar in the field. Is this a related household? This is going too far. 3 generations of Hokage-sama, why let such a person serve as a graduation invigilator? Who would be convinced if he abused his power like this? A group of graduates were in a state of commotion. Sarutobi Shinosuke's face was blue and Yuhi didn't answer. Thinking of the gaffe just now, he couldn't help shouting sharply. Uchiha Chinyu, you have also seen it. It's not that we don't want it, it's everyone who doesn't agree. Uchiha Itachi is only 7 years old now, so it won't help much if he graduates. In Sarutobi Shinosuke's eyes, Uchiha Itachi would graduate early because of Chinyu's words. This is downright shame. Then what do you mean? There is something wrong with my vision. Chinyu smiled warmly. If I say that everyone here is rubbish, will you take it? A small voice, at this moment, swept the audience like a hurricane. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Chinyu took a step forward. The violent murderous aura rolled away with a tenacious posture. Wherever they went, let alone those graduates whose muscles were stiff and trembling. His face was as pale as paper. The three of Sarutobi Shinosuke's expressions also changed. They are Jonin. But the breath in front of them gave them the feeling that it was like a sharp blade on the throat, which could kill them at any time. Chin-yu, are you crazy? Dare to act wild in the ninjutsu school? This matter has spread, and even the third generation can't forgive you. Sarutobi Shinosuke growled in a hurry. In the face of this blood-like murderous aura, he had to resist with all his strength. At this moment, he finally understood why Uchiha Chin-yu got the title of Scarlet Asura. Haha, I'm a graduate invigilator. Chin-yu smiled warmly. Of course I'm qualified to decide the items of the exam. I announce that today's assessment project is to leave the gate of this playground alive. The voice suddenly became cold and severe, like a biting cold wind. Blood red, instantly occupying Chin-yu's eyes, Jutomo Sharingan turned around in vain, crackling thunder arcs all over the body. Alert, send it immediately. Sarutobi Shinosuke was stunned. He never thought that Uchiha Chin-yu would choose to attack at the ninjutsu school. Once this outrageous behavior spreads, it will definitely make people intolerable. However, as soon as these words were said, a figure wrapped around Lei Guang passed by him in an instant. With both hands like electricity, Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi grabbed one hand on their faces before they could move. Without any bells and whistles, he smashed directly to the ground. Boom! The huge impact force shattered the ground. The heads of Yamanaka Inoichi and Nara Shikaku shattered. The blood splattered like fireworks, making the scalp tingle. This speed can't even keep up with hand seal. Murdered! Someone exclaimed in surprise, making Sarutobi Shinosuke pale. The whole person was like an electric shock, and hurriedly pulled away and retreated. At the same time, quickly hand seal with both hands to display the psychic technique. Chapter 123_rub on the ground. The Art of Psychic Ape Demon. Sarutobi Shinosuke slammed on the ground with his backhand, and the tyrannical chakra poured frantically. Boom! A low sonic boom resounded, and under the white mist, an ape figure appeared. Boy, you haven't summoned me for a long time. What happened? The ape demon walked out of the white fog. As the strongest psychic summoned beast in the ninja world, except for the immortals, the monkey demon has always been the killer of the 3 generations of Hokage. It is a secret psychic beast signed by the Sarutobi clan. It can be said that Sarutobi Shinosuke can become one of the 8 colors of Konoha, and the monkey magic has played a key role. Ape demon, now is not the time to gather old people. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked at Yamanaka Inoichi and Nara Shikaku who were dead and couldn't die any longer. His face turned pale, and he shouted sharply, I try my best to delay the time. I will send out a distress signal first. Is it that Uchiha Chin-yu, who is known as the Bloody Asura? The monkey demon met the bloody eyes of Yuhi the orangutan, and the hippie smile disappeared. I will transform into Rui's golden hoop, temporarily suppress him, and give you time to delay. The ape demon roared, knowing that the situation was serious. His hands clasped together suddenly, and at the moment when the seal was formed, he turned into a wishful Vajra. Please. Sarutobi Shinosuke glanced hurriedly. In his eyes, it was not a problem for the ape demon with the indestructible body of King Kong to buy some time. Go. The ape demon roared, and on the Rui golden hoop, 2 smart eyes suddenly turned down. It turned into a black shadow and swept straight towards Chin-yu. Wherever it passed along the way, it made a loud noise, like tearing cloth. The short tens of meters is just a blink of an eye. When everyone reacts, the monkey demon has already slammed into Chin-yu's abdomen with Wan Jun's posture. Give me up. Seeing that Chin-yu seemed to be stunned, standing in the same place dumbfounded, the ape demon roared angrily when he saw the time. The Rui diamond bar, which was originally 10 centimeters in diameter, suddenly ballooned in size. It transformed into a thickness of 3 or 4 meters, making the explosive force of the impact even go up several floors. Boom! A thunderous crash resounded through the sky. The huge air waves rolled back like a hurricane. Even the ground beneath his feet seemed unable to withstand the impact, and cracked like a cobweb in response. Under the rolled-up dust, the scene that gradually revealed made Sarutobi Shinosuke and Tsurumo stunned. The illusory fingers rested on the wishful diamond stick, which was more than 10 meters in size. Seemingly fierce and unparalleled, the impact of Wanjun's posture was easily resisted by the fingers in front of him. The cruel words he said a moment ago were like an invisible slap on the cheeks of Sarutobi and Sarutobi Shinosuke. Not only did this slap in the face come quickly, but it was also slapped loudly. "Is this your full strength?" Chinyu smiled warmly. It was disappointing. "Have you ever tried the feeling of being pressed and rubbed on the ground?" The low voice, at this moment, was like a death urging, making everyone's nerves suddenly tense. The blood-like pupil power of the orangutan Yuhi, under the rotation of the 9-tomo Sharingan, skyrocketed wildly. The blink of an eye, it turned into a 3-headed and 6-armed Susanoo with a height of 30 or 40 meters. The violent scene shook everyone's nerves. Susanoo in front of him, it was like a child's play at all. Yuhi, the gorilla who represents the disaster, is jumping, giving a god-like posture. The 3 heads and 6 eyes turned in vain and locked on the Rui diamond stick. Without any bells and whistles, he pressed down suddenly with a dashing stance. "Ape demon, hurry up and escape," Sarutobi Shinosuke growled anxiously. Unfortunately, everything seems pale and powerless. The 6 gorillas Yuhi moved their big hands, completely blocking the retreat of the monkey demon. Under its frightened gaze, it quickly zoomed in. Boom! The big hand suddenly pressed, and the playground with a radius of several hundred meters collapsed. The huge impact force made the Rui King Kong stick, which is known to be indestructible, directly rubbed on the ground. Under the head-on blow, the Rui diamond stick more than 10 meters long was directly buried in the soil. This is almost in response to what Chinyu said just now. The Rui diamond stick was completely pressed and rubbed on the ground. Boom! The soaring sand and dust rolled and dispersed. Chinyu looked around and looked at Sarutobi Shinosuke. This glance immediately made his face turn pale, and before he had time to think about it, he pulled away and quickly retreated. Kushina, as the most powerful person in Konoha Ninja Village, Jinchuriki column force weapon, you must stop Chinyu, and I will inform the 3rd generation now. Abandoning these words, Sarutobi Shinosuke ran away in full view. The violent scene made everyone who stayed in the field startled. Even Uzumaki Kushina is no exception. 2 Jonin mentors, and when he raised his hand, he directly suppressed the so-called strongest psychic beast. This is too shocking, as if there is an invisible big hand tightening the heart. "Little girl, don't shoot randomly, you can't provoke this person." QB Ninetales' voice came out from Kushina's consciousness space. "If you want to die, you can go anyway, but if I remember correctly, these terrifying eyes are comparable to that person." Uzumaki Kushina was stunned. It was the first time she had ever seen QB Ninetales, who had always been fearless, and when she saw Hokage, she was going to clamor for a fight. However, it can't be blamed on QB Ninetales if there is an experience of being teased like a pet by Uchiha Madara. No one wants to relive those days. "No, I can't watch other students get killed," Uzumaki Kushina shouted anxiously. With a flicker of the figure, he attacked Chinyu first. Seal Art Adamantine Sealing Chains. This is the secret Kekkei Genkei ninjutsu of the Uzumaki clan. In addition to Kagura's eyes, this trick is the most powerful. At the peak of Uzumaki Kushina, it was able to stabilize the tail beast. Even QB Ninetales can suppress. It is for this reason that the people of Kyubi, Nine Tails, the Jinchuriki, Column Power, will let the people of the Uzumaki family inherit from generation to generation. A pity that in the generation of Uzumaki Naruto, due to the lack of guidance from the predecessors, Kagura's mind and sage body were unable to actively awaken. At the same time, even adamantine sealing chains and other sealing techniques were completely lost. Otherwise, if you have the three major items of the Uzumaki family, the so-called genius can only stand in front of Uzumaki Naruto. Looking at the 7 or 8 chains, like cobwebs, they are entangled in a fierce posture. Chinyu's whole body was full of thunder, and it shot out like a sharp arrow, instantly passing through the attack of the diamond chain. Since you want to play, I'll let Susanoo accompany you, but don't stop me from killing. Chapter 124 The Hell-Style Graduation Assessment. Sarutobi Asuma was born rebellious, especially because his father was Hokage and his elder brother was one of the 8 colors of Konoha. This caused him to be 4 or 5 years older than the others before entering the ninjutsu school. Even after becoming an adult, because of disagreement with the 3 generations of Hokage, he left Konoha Ninja Village and became one of the 12 ninja protectors. Sarutobi Asuma, who is about 14 or 15 years old, is only passing through the ninjutsu school in order to obtain a qualified ninja status. His own strength has already reached the level of Chunin, infinitely close to the level of a special Jonin. However, in Sarutobi Asuma's mind at this moment, the thoughts are the same as others. Facing the person in front of him, he was already shocked by the tyrannical murderous aura, and was frightened by the violent killing. The body fell into the situation of being killed for a moment and facing the attack, it was like a shadow of death, and the eye sockets were almost split. Move me, the hysterical roar roared in his heart. However, no matter how he struggled, his entire body was like a stubborn rock, just trembling autonomously. Are you going to die? Messy thoughts flashed in Sarutobi Asuma's mind, watching the dazzling sharp blade rapidly dilate in his pupils. Whoosh! The sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded. A young figure appeared in front of him 1 step ahead. When the crisp metal collision sounded in vain, and at the moment of the collision, sparks sputtered. Is it Uchiha Itachi? Sarutobi Asuma and the others looked stagnant. Just when they suspected that Chinyu was unfair and did not suppress Uchiha Itachi, the words that fell in their ears suddenly made them nervous. I didn't expect that you used pain to drive away the fear in your body. At least this performance did not disappoint me. Chinyu smiled warmly. However, your 3 Tomo Sharingan alone are not enough, otherwise you won't be able to block my attack. Uchiha Itachi was startled, a ridiculous thought flashed through his mind. However, a large hand wrapped in thunderlight pierced through his chest like lightning. The game is over, Chinyu smiled playfully. Hot blood splattered, and Sarutobi Asuma, who was close at hand, even smeared his face. Seeing that even his own cousin could kill him, the graduates present couldn't help but roared in their minds. For a while, without the obstruction of Uchiha Itachi, Chinyu was like a wolf entering a flock. With the sharp blade in his hand, every time he unsheathed it, he could kill a life. In just 10 seconds, 48 graduates were lying on their backs. In a pool of blood. Crazy. Uzumaki Kushina's face turned pale. As soon as he made a move, he took 48 lives, which was a heinous crime. Too late to entangle with Susanoo, and the moment he looked at Chinyu, his heart suddenly shook. Okay, let's go. Chinyu stepped forward and appeared in front of Kushina like a thunderbolt. Watching the Raiden Thunder style instant technique, the speed is like a ghost, and even the naked eye can't keep up. She finally understood why there were rumors in the ninja world that the blood-colored Asura Uchiha Chinyu had already overwhelmed Yellow Flash Namikaze Minato. Help, come on quickly, Uchiha Chinyu is killing the graduates. A hysterical roar echoed through the school. Anbu's figure flashed out in the dark, along with Jiraiya and Tsunade. They were just about to go to Ichiraku Ramen to continue researching medicinal foods when they were shocked by the scene in front of them. Shinosuke, what happened? 3 generations of Hokage also fell from the sky. It can be said that as long as the ninjas stationed in Konoha came, even Uchiha Fugaku, who had been following him, was no exception. Lord Hokage, it was a complete mistake for you to appoint Uchiha Chinyu as the graduation invigilator. Sarutobi Shinosuke turned pale, grabbed the wrist of the 3rd Hokage, and roared anxiously. That guy, in the name of the examiner, exceptionally suggested that Uchiha Itachi participate in the examination. I just objected, and he shot and killed Yamanaka Inoichi and Nara Shikaku. You guys hurry up, I just let Kushina stop him. If you slow down, I'm afraid that 48 students will be killed. Seeing Sarutobi Shinosuke looking crazy, everyone present was moved, even Uchiha Fugaku. However, as the head of the Uchiha clan, there is also the premise of Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Fugaku saw the clue in an instant. Nanosuke, you've fallen into demonic illusion. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and 3 generations of Hokage and other powerful and experienced ninjas all spoke in unison. When the voice fell, everyone who was just guessing came to a consensus in an instant. Let me do it. Uchiha Fugaku breathed a sigh of relief. Under this kind of watchful eyes, he dared not cast Mangekyo Sharingan. However, as long as you know that Sarutobi Shinosuke has hit the demonic illusion and left the space domain of the caster, 3 Tomo Sharingan alone is enough to forcibly break it. The blood-colored light flashed in his pupils, and the moment 3 Tomo appeared, Uchiha Fugaku snorted. Give me the solution. Thunderous roar resounded in Sarutobi Shinosuke's mind. The tyrannical pupil power, like a tide, rushed straight into Sarutobi Shinji's mind. With the whole body shaking, Sarutobi Shinosuke let out a groan, and a trace of Yuhi's blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. The negative emotions that had enveloped him were gone. The anxiety, despair, irritability and other symptoms disappeared. Looking at the appearance of the 3 generations of Hokage and others, it became particularly clear. Is this really demonic illusion? Sarutobi Shinosuke touched the blood that should have been on his body. Now there is no trace of it at all. No way. Sarutobi Shinosuke turned around and hurried to the playground. Seeing this scene, everyone secretly breathed a sigh of relief, but also felt nothing. A freshman's graduation assessment can be tossed like this, and it also applies such powerful demonic illusion. Even Sarutobi Shinosuke, known as one of the 8 colors of Konoha, was recruited, not to mention those freshmen. Lord Hokage, I'm going to teach that bastard a lesson, Uchiha Fugaku said anxiously. But soon a Byakugan was called. Fugaku, stop acting, let alone you, even if we add up, I'm afraid we won't be able to teach him a lesson. Jiraiya said helplessly. This time, I'm afraid it will be the most hellish graduation assessment in history. I don't know if anyone can survive it. In case of death of consciousness, it will be a headache. Tsunade said. Originally, she planned not to meet Chinyu for the time being, but she never thought that because of this kind of thing, the time to meet would be brought up. Let's go, since everyone is here, let's go and have a look. I hope that kid didn't make things too serious, otherwise the parents behind those students may have to toss again. The 3rd generation of Hokage felt a headache. The group rushed to the entrance of the playground in a mighty manner, and looked at Sarutobi Shinosuke who was standing at the entrance dumbfounded. And in the playground, the people who are like dementia, standing in the same place, deep in demonic illusion. While secretly relieved, Tsunade's expression changed slightly. Being able to let so many people fall into the same demonic illusion space at the same time, his demonic illusion accomplishments are simply amazing. If we don't have psychological preparations in advance, I'm afraid we won't be able to get out for a while. Tsunade couldn't help saying. Chapter 124 _ Uchiha Chinyu, are you crazy? Use demonic illusion on these students. Sarutobi Shinosuke roared. Stepping out one step, he swept straight towards Chinyu, who was leaning against the tree trunk. However, just after taking 7 or 8 steps, Jiraiya came first and stopped in front of him. Master Jiraiya, why did you stop me? Sarutobi Shinosuke hurriedly wanted to break free from Jiraiya's hand. Unfortunately, this hand is as motionless as cast steel. No matter how hard he tries, it is useless. Don't be impulsive, he will kill you. Jiraiya looked at Chinyu. He was deeply touched by the warm smile on the latter's face. He will kill me. This is Konoha Ninja Village. In front of the 2 adults and Hokage, he dares to kill me. Sarutobi Shinosuke said anxiously. Even if he kills me, how sure is he to escape from Konoha? Having said that, Sarutobi Shinosuke subconsciously looked at the 3 generations of Hokage. As the eldest son of the Sarutobi family, he believed that Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was Hokage, would never watch him get killed. 50%. Sarutobi Hiruzen said in a deep voice, he has a 50% chance of killing you, and a 50% chance of leaving Konoha Ninja Village safely. He has too many cards. We don't know the depth of Chinyu at all. I'm afraid this 50% is still optimistic. However, I believe that Uchiha Chinyu has no intention of Konoha. Sarutobi Shinosuke was stunned. It was the first time he had seen his father give such a high evaluation. This is Konoha Ninja Village. Could it be possible to leave safely after killing someone? Okay, let's go check the situation first. 3 generations of Hokage patted Sarutobi Shinosuke on the shoulder. However, as soon as they took a step, they saw figures coming from all directions. Lord Hokage, what happened? My son, Shiranui Genma, took the graduation examination today. My son Gangziti is also. Lord Hokage, what happened to Tanbo Feiju? What happened to my Inazuka flower? Quote. Looking at the dozens of parents who appeared in an instant, Sarutobi Shinosuke's face flashed with joy. Parents, you have also seen that this Uchiha Chinyu used demonic illusion on the students without authorization. Even I can't break this test, let alone these ordinary students. Noisy. The face of the 3rd generation Hokage sank, and he never thought that at this juncture, Sarutobi Shinosuke would contribute to the flames. What's more, the 3rd generation of Hokage found that Chinyu seemed to be confident. You have to throw things away. If you can't do it, it doesn't mean others can't. Chinyu glanced at Sarutobi Shinosuke lightly. Even demonic illusion can't take it. Going to the battlefield is a real dead end. I'm just helping them make a decision as soon as possible. If you can wake up automatically, you will meet the graduation standard I require. If you can't wake up, then I'm sorry. You can only wait for the next class to graduate. A small voice, revealing an unmistakable taste. Sarutobi Shinosuke's expression turned ashen, and when he was about to speak, a voice suddenly rang out. Brother, I'm awake. Uchiha Itachi opened suddenly, and 3 Tomo Sharingan exuded a fascinating smell. He succeeded, and he is indeed a genius of the Uchiha family. When he was only 7 years old, he started 3 Tomo Sharingan. Looking at the Uchiha family, I am afraid that even adults can't compare with him. Don't forget, there is an even more terrifying existence here. After 15 years of dormancy, it was only natural to know when he opened Sharingan. Chapter 126 _ The most powerful graduates ever. In the huge playground, dozens or even hundreds of pairs of eyes fell on Chinyu. While everyone was amazed, for Sarutobi Shinosuke, it was a slap in the face. Especially what Chinyu said just now was like an invisible slap. He couldn't help but hold Yuhi on his cheeks. He looked at Uchiha Chinyu, his expression changed, and he shouted sharply. No, it must be that Uchiha Chinyu deliberately favored Uchiha Itachi. Otherwise, how could he break free in demonic illusion with a little brat? 3 generations of Hokage's face sank, and he shouted anxiously, Shinosuke, what are you doing? Dad, it's not me who is fooling around, it's Uchiha Chinyu. He used demonic illusion, which even I, the principal, couldn't get rid of, to attack these graduates. This is simply a lunatic, who can break free. Sarutobi roared anxiously. Road. Also, from the very beginning, Uchiha Chinyu planned to make Uchiha Itachi graduate exceptionally, so deliberately releasing water is no exception. I can't believe that as a Jonin, the headmaster of Konoha School, I can't compare to a student. A hysterical roar echoed in the heaven and earth. The expressions of the parents present couldn't help but stagnate. In their eyes, as Sarutobi Shinosuke said, even the dignified Jonin and the principal of the Konoha School couldn't do it. Not to mention, these are generally 8 or 9-year-old freshmen. Now that Uchiha Itachi can break through in demonic illusion, it will undoubtedly become intriguing. Feeling the change in the atmosphere in the arena, a smile appeared on Sarutobi Shinosuke's face. The next moment, it became extremely stiff. Teacher, I'm awake too. The small voice, at this moment, seemed to be filled with magical sounds, echoing in the heaven and earth, and there was no way to disperse it for a long time. Everyone's nerves suddenly tightened, and they hurriedly looked at the sound, and what they saw was a bad boy, Sarutobi Asuma. He even respectfully greeted Chinyu with a teacher-student salute. I'm awake too. Bujowo Genma also suddenly opened his eyes. Me too. I also came out in demonic illusion. Why are you all faster than me? Teacher, I came out too. Cut, who was afraid just now and didn't dare to commit suicide. How embarrassing, how dare you say it and show it off. Quote. The voices that came out one after another, and the young men who opened their eyes one by one. At this moment, it was like a chain reaction occurred. That smile on his face was completely subverted by Sarutobi Shinosuke's brutality. It's impossible, isn't Uchiha Chinyu in the demonic illusion space, wanting to kill you all? Why are you able to come out without hating him at all? Sarutobi Shinosuke growled in a hurry. Of the figure, he performed the technique of instant body, and appeared in front of Sarutobi Asuma. He was about to ask questions, but was stopped by Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi. Ninosuke, we have to admit that the demonic illusion space created by Chinyu is powerful. Yamanaka Inoichi glanced at Chinyu with fear. However, we must also admit that he made these students feel a sense of death in advance, which is a transformation of their spiritual mood. It can be said that they experienced a life and death, and then experienced a courageous decision to commit suicide. This will not only improve their survival rate in the Third Ninja War, but as long as they survive, I am afraid they will still be the graduates with the most powerhouses in the past. Everyone in the field was stunned. In the beginning, as parents, they came to Xingxi to ask for guilt. Unfortunately, everything in front of them subverted their cognition. Chapter 127 _ Has your child committed suicide? It's impossible, he must have let you out on purpose, otherwise, this demonic illusion space cannot be destroyed at all. Sarutobi Shinosuke looked grim. Watching 48 students and 2 teachers also come out of the demonic illusion space. This is a shame for his dignified school principal. Brother, Mr. Chinyu didn't let us out on purpose, it was Itachi who told us how to do it. Sarutobi Asuma said with a respectful face. The test this time is courage. After being killed, reshape the body again, and then muster the courage to face life and death and make the final choice. This is the ultimate goal of the teacher. Having said that, Sarutobi Asuma looked at Chinyu and said, if I were to evaluate it, the graduation assessment this time is more important than what I have learned in 3 years. Yes, when we first graduated, we were worried about how to deal with the enemy on the battlefield, but now we are not afraid. After this experience, I won't be frightened like I was just now. Cut. Do you really think that the battlefield is full of powerful beings like the teacher? Don't forget, the teacher is known as the blood-colored Asura. The scene suddenly boiled over. Looking at the students who hated Chinyu at the beginning, his attitude was instantly one-sided. A teacher on the left, a teacher on the right. This ride is like a dream. Haha, did you see that my son, Feiju Tanbo, passed the most brutal graduation examination in history? His future achievements are definitely greater than that of my father. Jonan is just around the corner. One parent laughed out loud. Cut. Wait a moment, I have to go to the party. I have already prepared my speech. My steel is iron. The demonic illusion space of the blood-colored Asura successfully stood out in the cruelest graduation assessment in history, and became the genin the best. The parent standing beside him said unconvincingly. For a time, the huge playground was instantly occupied by the sound of boiling show-off. There are some outrageous dialogues flying all over the sky. Has your son tried suicide? How many of your sons committed suicide? How did your son commit suicide? Looking at these bizarre conversations, even the 3 generations of Hokage and other high-level executives looked at each other in dismay, and could only smile bitterly. Even they didn't expect that the cruelest graduation assessment in history would form a wave of follow-up in the future. Many people greet each other when they meet. Have your children committed suicide? This sentence has become the strongest synonym for this class of graduates. It is also the title of a blood-colored Asura disciple. Has the title of suicide. Of course, all of this is just an afterthought. At that time, I am afraid that even Chinyu would not have thought of his unintentional act. Let these 48 graduates become the mainstay of Konoha's future combat power Jinchuriki column, 48 suicides. Okay. 3 generations of Hokage glanced at it, and the lost Sarutobi Shinosuke sighed secretly. He knew very well that if Sarutobi Shinosuke did not choose to run away, he would definitely not become an alternative existence in this group of people. As long as he is killed by Chinyu, he will reshape the illusion again and muster the courage to choose suicide. Will also be shrouded in the present honor. Unfortunately, all this now makes his so-called refutation seem pale and powerless. Even the title of Konoha's 8 colors can't fill him up. Next, the genin graduation ceremony will be held. Since all the parents are here, let's join together. As for Chinyu, the 3rd generation Hokage looked at Uchiha Chinyu. However, before he could speak, Chinyu, who was leaning against the tree, smiled genially. With a bang, his body turned into a cloud of white mist, which collapsed between the heavens and the earth. The violent scene left everyone stunned. The 2 horse-riding brothers had the same temperament. Using shadow clone for genin graduation assessment. Is this looking down on people, or making fun of people? Compared with the shock of everyone, Sarutobi Shinosuke can't wait to find a dog hole to get into. Even a mere clone can't fight, let alone seek revenge for Uchiha Chinyu. Teacher, this Uchiha Chinyu really doesn't play cards according to common sense, but everything he does is flawless, and people can't be picky. Tsunade said suddenly. These 48 freshmen have changed their aura, giving them a sense of tenacity and decisiveness. If they are on the battlefield, they are comparable to experienced ninjas. This assessment method may be able to learn from 1 or 2. Faced with this proposal, the 3 generations of Hokage and Jiraiya laughed helplessly, and couldn't help but turn over a Byakugan. Tsunade, don't be too naive, you can instantly cast demonic illusion to form a conjoined space. Looking at the entire Konoha ninja village, it may be possible for everyone except the Kurama family to wash and sleep. Jiraiya explained helplessly. Moreover, in order to maintain such a huge demonic illusion space at the same time, I am afraid that the caster's mental strength, demonic illusion attainments, etc. have extremely high requirements. It can be said that this time's assessment cannot be replicated. The third generation of Hokage on the side also nodded in agreement, looked at the direction in which Chin Yu's shadow clone dissipated, and sighed. This kid, every time he does things, it is unexpected. Sometimes I really don't want to be an enemy of him, otherwise I'm afraid I don't even know how to die. These words fell. Jiraiya and Tsunade who were present were silent, but they could not refute for a moment. On the other hand, outside Konoha Shinobi Village, a dark shadow like a ghost fell on the basin. Kakuzu, who was originally sitting on the rock with a gloomy expression, woke up. Lord you're finally here. Kakuzu tightened his expression, then heaved a sigh of relief. Chin-Yu nodded and said with a frown, "What is it that made you contact me so urgently?" After Chin-Yu exited the demonic illusion space just now, he saw the eagle used by Kakuzu for communication, so he left his clone in the ninjutsu school and left alone. In his eyes, Kakuzu has the strength of cage level, and is accompanied by Sasori of the Red Sand. I am afraid that facing a small country, it can be easily destroyed. It's Biwa Juzo who has news. Kakuzu turned over and took out a scroll. When he was approaching Kisame Hoshigaki, he learned that Danzo was secretly in contact with the Land of Water, which seemed to be related to the murder of the third generation of Mizukage. Although I don't know the ins and outs of the matter for the time being, I thought that this matter is related to you, so I make your own decision, come and report. Quote. Chin-Yu took the scroll, and the content described above was more detailed than what Kakuzu described. Even the time when the messenger sent by Danzo spoke with the daimyo of the Land of Water was clearly recorded. It seems that after more than half of the 7 ninja swordsmen were slaughtered, and the third generation of Mizukage was killed for no reason, the status of Biwajuzo and Kisame Hoshigaki was improved and they were able to access these key confidential information. Chapter 128 _ The Bounty of the Tang Kingdom. Sir, are we going to strike first? Kakuzu said suddenly. I found out not long ago that Anbu stole out of the Konoha Shinobi village by himself. This should be Danzo's messenger. As long as the Lord gives an order, he can be killed soon. Having said this, Kakuzu's face has a murderous look. After all, Kakuzu is walking in the ninja world as a bounty hunter. In the original book, he is in Akatsuki. It is also an existence that even dares to kill his teammates. At the moment, only facing Chin-Yu, will he restrain his stinky temper a little. Haha, such a fun game, why did it end early? Let Danzo continue to dance. Chin-Yu smiled warmly, and 9 Tomo Sharingan turned around abruptly. The instant the black flames rose, the scroll was directly burned to ashes. Where is Sasori? Chin-Yu frowned. He didn't want the younger brother he had just received, so he was disliked by Kakuzu and directly killed him. He took a mission and went to destroy the country of soup. What kind of cult? I saw that the famous name was very good and the reward was a lot, so I let him act without authorization. Kakuzu explained. At the same time, he flipped his hand and took out a reward order. There was no portrait of the character Chin-Yu had in mind, but a description in words. Offer a reward of 50 million taels to destroy the evil gods in the country of soup. According to the time, Hidan, a cultist, should be 11 or 12 years old now. In this chaotic ninja war, the evil gods should rise, and Hidan should be released. It seems that because of this reason, the name of Tang Jiguo can't wait to carry out a reward task in the black market. Although, the country of soup and the country of soil are bordered by the border, it is also one of the small affiliated countries. On weekdays, if something happens in the country of Tang, the daimyo of the country of Tang will also pay, and let Iwagakure village take action to solve 1 or 2 things. Unfortunately, The village of Iwagakure has now been attacked by the surprise attack force led by the third-generation Raikage. The purpose is precisely the two-tailed beasts, and an offensive and defensive battle has been launched. In a short period of time, it was impossible to free up his hands to suppress the heretic god sect for Tang Jiguo. In the face of the increasingly invading cultists, Tang Jiguo daimyo had no choice but to place a bounty on the black market. "Sir, are you not going to interfere in this kind of thing?" Kakuzu couldn't help asking. The young man in front of him, although he is decades away from him, is facing the oppressive force of this back. It only appeared when facing the original Hokage and Uchiha Madara. Within the Cthulhu sect, there is a very good goal that may be our companion. Chinyu smiled genially. Besides, don't you worry about Sasori and plan to go together. Since it is possible to meet, it is also a fate, and it is also a good thing to kill this boring time. Kakuzu's expression was stagnant, and Chinyu had clearly guessed his thoughts. He touched the back of his head awkwardly, and said, "It seems that nothing can be hidden from the adults. Sasori's guy keeps saying that he is looking for some materials for the sake of art. I'm worried that he won't bargain. If he can't get back even 50 million taels, it's a loss-making business. So, I hope your lord will allow me to take a trip in person." Looking at an art madman and a wealthy slave, Chinyu touched the tip of his nose helplessly. In his memory, Akatsuki's members were all problem characters. If it is placed in modern times, it can definitely be called a psychologically distorted terrorist. Okay, since it's still some time before Danzo's attack, let's go to the land of soup to see, you lead the way. Chinyu patted Kakuzu on the shoulder. He knew very well that Kakuzu's bottom line was money. If he refused his request in terms of money, I am afraid it would not be worth the loss. "Sir, don't worry, I have everything ready," Kakuzu said with a happy face. However, this time, the bounty of Tang Jiguo's name is the highest in recent years, and many people in the black market have accepted it. Mission. So, we will meet with them next, and if necessary, I want to solve some small problems. Not reject Kakuzu's proposal. Moreover, facing the most mysterious black market organization in Hokage, Chinyu was still interested. After getting Chinyu's approval, Kakuzu didn't stop for a while, and he led the way in a flash. After Chinyu left Konoha, Uchiha Fugaku hurried back to the place where the Uchiha clan was stationed. When he returned to the front of the house, not only did he not find Chinyu's whereabouts, but he was alarmed by the scene in front of him, and his face turned gloomy. "Patriarch, the three elders have been waiting for you for a long time," the 4 members of the garrison guarding the gate said in unison. One of the leaders was Uchiha Stone, who was injured by Uchiha Chinyu. "I didn't expect your injury to heal so quickly. I think that if Chinyu had attacked a little harder, you might have grass growing on your grave now," Uchiha Fugaku said coldly. Uchiha Shi's stride suddenly stiffened, and his cheeks couldn't help twitching. He went to provoke Uchiha Chinyu, and the matter of taking Bloody Asura as his younger brother had already spread in the station. However, because he was the deputy captain of the garrison, no one dared to mention it in person. Now Uchiha Fugaku dares to say a word, and for Uchiha Shi, it is simply a face. Thinking of this, Uchiha Shi's face turned gloomy and said, "Fugaku, I gave you face, so I called you the patriarch. If I don't give you face, you are not even a fart now. I tell you now, because of your incompetent leadership over the years, the 3 elders have decided to dismiss your patriarch position, and I will inherit it from now on." "You?" Uchiha Fugaku's expression froze for a moment, then he sneered and said, "You are a waste. If I am not the patriarch, even if it is Chinyu and Shisui's turn, it will not be your turn. As a leading dog, you'd better lead the way for me." "Bastard." Uchiha Shi's face turned ashen, and he shouted in exasperation. However, As soon as the voice fell, he instantly met the 3-tomo Sharingan of Uchiha Fugaku. An inexplicable suppressed breath, like a frenzy, came head-on. This is pure murder. Although he couldn't reach Chinyu's level, it was enough to shock and frighten Uchiha-shi, the younger generation who had never been on the battlefield. Okay, now is not the time to quarrel, Fugaku, don't blame Shi, he is also thinking about the rise of our Uchiha clan. Uchiha said lightly with his hands behind him. Took a short pause, looked back, and said without a smile, I heard that Makoto is pregnant with your child again. If there is another genius like Itachi, this is definitely what the ancestors gave to our Uchiha clan. Bless. So, as a father, you should protect them well, and don't let anything happen at such a juncture. Chapter 129 The Eve of the Storm. Aren't you planning to do something to Makoto? Uchiha Fugaku's voice suddenly turned cold, and the breath he exuded rolled back like a frenzy. Sharingan turned in vain, and the 3-pointed star Mangekyo was instantly revealed. A tyrannical pupil force rose into the sky through the body, and with a tenor-like posture, it rolled away, causing the complexions of the surrounding guard team members to change dramatically. The next moment, a dark shadow flashed out in the dark, 3-tomo Sharingan, which looked unusually infiltrating in the dark. In an ups and downs, Kue was pushed directly against Uchiha Fire's back. Elder, offended, Uchiha Itachi said indifferently. In this world, in addition to his younger brother, Uchiha Itachi can only show indifference to those who respect him. Elder, this is Mangekyo Sharingan, and 3-tomo Sharingan. Uchiha's expression changed drastically. As soon as these words fell, the expressions of everyone present also changed. In their eyes, during Uchiha Fugaku's tenure as the patriarch, everything was peaceful. I didn't expect that such power would be hidden. Most importantly, Uchiha Itachi, who was only 7 years old, even started 3-tomo Sharingan. This is something that even the adults like them can do with great effort. Hehe, it seems that Fugaku you are hiding too deeply. Elder Huo seemed to have expected it, and he was under this pressure, but he didn't take it to heart. However, it is precisely because you have this kind of strength that you choose to forbear. You lack the sharpness of Uchiha Chinyu, and you do not strive for the benefit of our Uchiha family at all. So, after our elders, there is another kind of clan's main battle member who decides to remove your clan leader's position. Words fell, Uchiha Itachi's expression changed drastically. Yesterday, he was ramen in Ichiraku. IKEA discovered the ambition of the 3 elders, and decided to graduate early. I never thought that the 3 elders would be faster than him. He was interrupted by Uchiha Fugaku's gaze. Are you planning to push Chinyu up to compete for the Hokage position? Are you not afraid of being attacked by him? Elder Huo laughed dryly and said, he is a hero, and you can't compare with him. Also, I have your family as hostages. As long as he really takes Hokage's position and everything is done, he can't step down from Hokage's position. Forgot to tell you, we cast the secret fire spirit seal on Makoto's body. As long as you do something wrong, don't blame us for not remembering our old feelings. The hoarse voice revealed a hint of threat. Uchiha Itachi's expression sank, and he was about to burst out when Uchiha Fugaku's probing hand pressed his shoulders. Come on, let's go see your mother. Uchiha Fugaku said in a deep voice, I don't think the elders will stop me, right? Elder Huo said with a bark-like smile. Don't worry, I will still allow this request, but for the next time, I hope you can stay at home and don't run around. Watching Elder Huo give way, Uchiha Fugaku walked towards the dining room with Itachi with a cold face. Just after taking a few steps, Uchiha Itachi lost his breath. Dad, why don't we resist, dare to cast a curse on mother, and take us as hostages to threaten brother? This method is simply hateful. Fugaku patted Uchiha Itachi on the shoulder and said, Did you look down on those clowns who jumped on the beam, or did you look down on your big brother you? They will regret it. The evil people in this world are not terrible. The most terrible thing is the smiling tiger. Don't look at your cousin's kindness. When you become crazy, no one will believe in doing anything. However, the Konoha ninja village will be restless next time. The three elders, as well as Danzo, don't even have the last bit of Pure Land. I really hope Minato can come back sooner. Watching Uchiha Fugaku and his son leave. Uchiha Shi was the first to lose his temper. Elder Huo, will I inherit the patriarch next? But does the plan really work? Fugaku doesn't seem to care about it at all. I thought I was going to fight him, and I had 30 confidants on all sides. In their eyes, in the face of this kind of rebellion, who would not resist furiously? This kind of natural feeling makes them not used to it. It smells like the eve of a storm. Don't worry, I promised you that the position of the patriarch belongs to you. As for Uchiha Chinyu, he is still a kid. I heard that he values feelings and loves Itachi. Elder Huo's eyes flashed a hint of coldness. With them as hostages, no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to make any big waves. How can a mere brat fight with us old bones? Haha, the elders are right, he is just a little boy, he is nothing without us Uchiha clan. Uchiha Shi laughed unbridled. 3 days later, in a deserted town 30 miles away from the land of soup, two figures in cloaks flashed past the half-collapsed town gate. Landed on a road full of weeds. Boss, the meeting point is ahead. Kakuzu lifted his cloak and led the way again. Chinyu quickly followed. Coming to the world of Hokage, it was the first time for him, and he felt like he was on a mission. Moreover, I learned from the news along the way that this time the bounty quest of Tengjiguo attracted many wandering ninjas and some small country families. Among them, Chinyu was also interested. Under the leadership of Kakuzu, Chinyu quickly came to an abandoned toilet. After knocking on the wall with a special rhythm, the roar of the organ soon came. A neat crack appeared on the originally solid wall. The stone door moved with a roar, and a man with tattoos appeared, and a dim passageway. Who? The tattooed man asked warily. However, the moment he saw the token in Kakuzu's hand, his pupils shrank suddenly. The blood-colored Shira order turned out to be a 9th-level bounty hunter. I was too rude. The tattooed man hurriedly gave way and looked at Chinyu. Does this guy have identification? If not, then just wait outside. As soon as these words fell, Kakuzu turned his right hand, and there was an extra kunai. The cold light of the blade circulated, and it went straight to the neck of the tattooed man. The speed was so fast that the tattooed man didn't have time to react at all, so he could only watch helplessly, the rapidly expanding attack in his pupils. Chapter 130-Treat My Pets. The attacking kunai rapidly enlarged in his pupils, making the tattooed man's face turn pale instantly. The thought of death just came into his mind, and the next moment, he saw a hand clasping Kakuzu's wrist first. Okay, don't frighten people. Chinyu said lightly. Put Kuwu away, it seems to be very lively inside. It's the boss. Kakuzu didn't refute. After glancing at the tattooed man, he put away Kuwu. Boss. The tattooed man's face changed involuntarily, looking at Chinyu, who was shrouded in cloak and was obviously thinner. It is too shocking to be called the boss by a 9th-level bounty hunter. This is an underground black market, respecting strength. It is different from the outside world's evaluation of status. Even the vicious 9th-level bounty hunter in front of him was so respectful. This means that the young man in front of him may be terrifying to another level. My boss asked, what happened inside? Kakuzu asked coldly. Usually, every time he comes, this underground black market is unusually deserted. It is so lively now that it has undoubtedly subverted his cognition. Yes, it's an auction. The tattooed man said anxiously. because this time, because of the huge reward, many small families and forces have been summoned, so the person in charge temporarily decided to hold the auction here. Auction. Chin-Yu couldn't help but be surprised. It was the first time he had discovered that there were auctions in the world of Hokage. However, it's really hard to say if anything good can come out. If it's just some scraps of iron and steel, I'm afraid it's disappointing. My lord, it seems that you also have intentions. The tattooed man immediately saw Chin-Yu's thoughts, and said anxiously, if your lord is also here for the mission of Tang Jiguo, it is still early to set off, so you might as well go. Eye-opening, I heard that there are legendary artifacts in this auction. Artifact. Chin-Yu looked surprised. In the world of Hokage, very few artifacts have ever appeared. Among them, the first so-called artifact that appeared was the Thor sword owned by the second-generation Hokage. It's a pity that in the end, he was defeated directly after he beat Rasengan. My lord, let me tell you secretly, that artifact is incomparably powerful. An ordinary genin, possessing this artifact, can instantly fight against Jonin. I think your lord is wise and divine. If you get this kind of weapon, you can go to the next level. Has become the dragon and phoenix among people. The tattooed man was not busy and flattered a few times. Kakuzu looked at Chin-Yu subconsciously. He didn't actually yearn for the so-called auction. After all, that kind of occasion, but need to spend money. For the miser like Kakuzu, it was nothing short of torture. Go and have a look, you don't need to spend any money anyway. Chin-Yu smiled warmly. As soon as these words fell, the tattooed man was stunned for a moment. It doesn't cost money, is it just to see it, or do you plan to rob it? Of course, the second thought, as soon as it emerged in the tattooed man's mind, was directly killed. In his eyes, although the underground black market is not a country, its power spreads throughout the entire ninja world, and it is even more prosperous. Whoever dares to make trouble in the underground black market will soon be hunted down by the entire ninja world. After all, there is no one person who doesn't like money. Money can make ghosts run the mill, and this principle prevails everywhere. No need to spend money. Kakuzu was also startled. Chin-Yu patted his shoulder and said, let's go, let's take a look, you'll know soon. Abandoning these words, Chin-Yu followed the tattooed man to the depths of the underground black market. After passing through 7 or 8 bends, they reached a depth of tens of meters underground. This is a huge circular space, surrounded by people in all directions. In the middle is a huge high platform, and a man with a strange tattoo is standing on the platform, introducing things with a loud voice. Sir, I will send you to this place. Due to the temporary auction, there is no VIP room here. I hope you don't mind. The tattooed man said respectfully. It was clearly still under the shadow cast by Kakuzu just now. Go back, I'm just taking a look. Chin-Yu said lightly. As soon as the voice fell, I soon heard the sound of the wooden seat beating on the stage. 3,000 taels for the 3rd time. Congratulations to the lady over there for getting 100 ration pills. The tattooed man on the stage pointed the gavel at the crowd. All kinds of vulgar voices broke out in the field immediately. Haha, little beautiful girl, can you afford the 3,000 taels? I heard that you Akatsuki are old and poor. Why don't you stay with me for one night? I can give you 3,000 taels. Turtle Spider, you don't even look at your broken face. Who would be foolish enough to go to bed with you? Little girl, as long as you stay with me for one night, I will give you 200 military ration pills. I am a poisonous bee. Pull. I'll give out 300 ration pills. The scene suddenly became chaotic. Facing the booing of hundreds of people, the 5 figures in the flaming cloud cloaks in the crowd trembled slightly. Obviously a little bit unbearable, this kind of coarse salt slang. Chin-Yu crossed the crowd and finally saw the thin figure of the leader. Conan, one of the 3 apprentices that Jiraiya accepted in a Megakure village. However, compared with the original, Conan is only 17 or 18 years old now. There is no frosty coldness in the original book, and there is a hint of innocence. Facing these people's provocation by Kai Guago, Yuhi's cheeks were also suffocated. Conan was about to open his mouth to refute, and an unpredictable voice broke the one-sided situation. This kind of thing can also be used as money. Chinyu said slowly, I usually treat my pets as snacks. Use this kind of thing to sleep with a little beautiful girl, it's worth a lot. The small sound, at this moment, is like a hurricane passing through. After all, some forces such as soil spiders and poisonous bees just opened their mouths to tease them. Now Chinyu's words have turned into provocations. Boy, do you know what nonsense you're talking about? The soil spider said sharply, his face sank. This military food pill, in addition to the large number of medical ninjas in the 5 countries, can be produced. It is a rare thing for our small families and small forces. You are so loud, if you can't take it out, don't blame us for being rude. As soon as these words fell, everyone showed a look of interest. In their eyes, Chinyu was just a young man who didn't know the darkness of the ninja world at all. Kakuzu, is the Bingbian pill really that valuable? Chinyu raised his brows, looking a little surprised. Kakuzu nodded expressionlessly, not caring about the rudeness of these people. As long as Chinyu gave an order, he didn't mind killing the audience. Chapter 131 The Legendary Artifact. This one, thank you for your kindness. I believe in the military ration pill. It is also very important to you in this war-torn period, and you don't have to go through this muddy water. Conan said suddenly. In her eyes, Chinyu's words just now were extremely arrogant, but they were also to relieve her siege. However, as soon as these words fell, he saw Sanwei crawling out of Chinyu's cloak with hazy sleepy eyes. Boss, what's going on? There's a lot of noise, is there any food to eat? These dry pills make my mouth feel bitter. Sanwei yawned. Although he said this on his mouth, a bag of military ration pills hung on his paws. As soon as it was undone, it fell directly into his mouth. 10, 20, 30. Those with good deeds stared at the black military ration pill, which was directly poured into Sanwei's mouth. A ration pill can supplement the food intake of a day. Now Sanwei swallowed 30 as soon as he opened his mouth, and this horse riding can hold a person alive. You still have military ration pills in your hand. Bring me 2 bags. Don't look reluctant. Didn't you say it's not delicious? After that, I'll cook yuhi and burn lion heads for you. Chinyu rolled his eyes, like a miser. 3 tails. He really doubted whether this guy had been with Kakuzu for a few days, and his temperament was close to the red and black. However, when Sanwei heard Chinyu's enticement, he hurriedly handed over the 3 bags of soldier ration pills in his hand. Boss, you owe me 3 meals. Also, can you eat yuhi's burnt lion heads, or I'll go find some lions and chop off the heads. I think it will take at least 7 or 8 heads before I can eat enough. It looked like a porcelain doll, but Yuhi opened his mouth and shut his mouth. Yuhi was burning a lion's head, and he was in a posture like 7 or 8 heads. The people present were stunned. Where does the confidence of this porcelain doll come from? Chinyu rolled his eyes and pushed Sanwei back into the cloak. He was really worried that this guy really went to kill the lion. Taking the 3 bags of military ration pills, Chinyu looked at Conan and threw it out in full view. It's for you. Conan was stunned. Do not. It should be said that everyone present was stunned. There are hundreds of pills in this small bag of military rations. Now Chinyu makes 3 bags, which is at least worth tens of thousands of taels. This is undoubtedly higher than the bid of the soil spider and the poisonous bee just now. I can't ask for anything from you, and besides, I'm not that kind of person. Conan's expression froze, a trace of anger appeared on his face, and he hurriedly wanted to return the ration pill to Chinyu. However, as soon as the idea emerged, it was interrupted by the next words. "I don't need that." Chinyu touched the tip of his nose and said, "It's a favor I owe your teacher. It's a help to Akatsuki. If you insist on that, I don't mind." In the Third Ninja War, Akatsuki under the leadership of Nagato and others was still under the so-called peace concept. As long as you hold a heart to restore peace to the ninja world, no matter what your background is, you can join the organization. It can be said that the current Akatsuki is not the awesome existence in the original book. No, sending any one person can also blow up the sky. Small civic organization active in the village of Omegakure. Rinnegan of the company chief has not been activated yet, so he can scare anyone. Completely down and out of the small organization. Teacher, Conan couldn't help but startled. When Jiraiya left, he told them that they must not reveal their relationship with him. Otherwise, there will be fatalities. After all, when Jiraiya volunteered to stay in Omegakure village to guide the Conan trio, Orochimaru had the heart of a killer. If Danzo knew, one of the dignified Sannin, known as the strongest being in the Konoha ninja village, actually guided the enemy. Moreover, each ninja guided by Sannin is not an unknown person. Among them, Jiraiya has a Konoha Yellow Flash Namikaze Minato who is a big shock ninja. Under this premise, Danzo will never allow any threat to emerge. It is for this reason that in the original book, Akatsuki was in contact with the village of Iwagakure. Danzo conspired with Hanzo of the Salamander to ambush the three Nagato who led Akatsuki's peace talks. "Do you know who my teacher is?" Conan couldn't help asking. Three of them formed Akatsuki in the first place to catch up with Jiraiya. After all, letting teachers see their achievements is the best reward. Hehe, let's talk about Juju later. I still want to see the artifact in the auction earlier, but I don't want to stay in this smoky place. Chinyu laughed dryly and avoided answering. Conan's expression was stagnant, and he was about to speak and then stopped by a man who was beside him. "Conan-sama, don't forget the purpose of our visit this time. If we get that thing, we Akatsuki will be able to gain a foothold in the ninja world," the man urged urgently. What's more, what this kid said just now has offended a lot of people. Speaking of which, Conan realized that the atmosphere in the scene had changed. Not to mention soil spiders and poisonous bees, even a lot of powerful people looked at Chinyu with a hint of murderous intent. "Boy, your tone is really big. I hope you can leave this place alive after the auction is over." Two Spider gave a cold and gloomy look, and then turned his eyes back to the ring. Looking at this scene, Kakuzu's expression turned cold. "Boss, do you want to kill them all?" They probably saw the speciality of the three tails. This can't blame Chinyu for being too high profile. If you want to blame it, you can only blame Sanwei for being too flamboyant. Swallowing dozens of military ration pills in one bite, anyone can see the difference. However, if you let them know that the target they are targeting is the dignified tailed beast, I wonder if there will be such a confident expression. No need, this scene has just begun. Chinyu smiled and shook his head, looking towards the high platform. Okay, I didn't expect that this auction would usher in a small episode, but don't worry about it. This auction is coming to an end. I believe everyone is eager to know what the artifact of this auction is. The tattooed man said, "Open your throat and drink." Soon, someone came up from the stage holding an old box. For a while, everyone held their breath, and the moment the tattooed man opened the box, his pupils shrank suddenly. Okay, I didn't expect that this auction would usher in a small episode, but don't worry about it. This auction is coming to an end. I believe everyone is eager to know what the artifact of this auction is. The tattooed man said, "Open your throat and drink." Soon, someone came up from the stage holding an old box. For a while, everyone held their breath, and the moment the tattooed man opened the box, his pupils shrank suddenly. I believe you will also think that this is just an ordinary ninja tool, but I want to tell you, this is the powerful ninja fan that the Golden Horn and Silver Horn troops in the village of Kurigakure had in the past. The tattooed man's tone changed instantly. Excited. Perhaps, you don't know who the Golden Horn and Silver Horn are, but as long as you know that the second-generation Hokage of Konoha Ninja Village died under the riots of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn, it is enough to see how powerful this banana fan is. Now the last item is auctioned. The price starts from 100,000 taels, and the starting price for each auction is at least 50,000 taels. Chapter 132 I will take the lead. The slightly elusive voice fell, and there was an uproar in the field immediately. Not only shocked by the price, but also by the power of this banana fan. However, at the beginning, the price was 100,000, and each time it jumped at least 50,000. Under such a high price, these small families and small forces will undoubtedly be discouraged. There was an inexplicable silence in the huge field, and even the tattooed man on the stage couldn't hang on his face. Subconsciously, he looked at Chin-Yu. Hee, it seems that no one dares to bid, then I will take the lead, 1,000,000 taels. Chin-Yu raised his hand warmly. Immediately there was an uproar in the field. The moment before, let the pet treat the food pills as a snack. Now the reserve price has been increased tenfold as soon as he opens his mouth, which means he has a lot of money. It's basically the performance of a playboy. 1,000,000 taels. Conan's cheeks flashed with disappointment. They Akatsuki have always liked to save the dead, and they often help refugees. Although often in the black market, or in other countries to take some tasks to earn bounties. Unfortunately, for Akatsuki in the development period, it is undoubtedly a drop in the bucket. Originally, they were inquiring about an artifact auction. They held 700,000 or 800,000 taels, and they were lucky enough to be able to bring the artifact home. Now Chin-Yu opened his mouth, directly shattering the extravagant hopes of many people. Hee, I didn't expect this little brother. He really has a vision, this banana fan, but the powerful attack weapon of the Golden Horn and the Silver Horn can exert the impact of the 5 elements of ninjutsu. The power is very powerful. If anyone can buy it back, maybe I can become a cage-level powerhouse on a par with the 5 countries. The tattooed man was overjoyed. This is an artifact at the bottom of the box. If he can't even buy the price of this thing, and blame it on the top, he will be a dead end. Boss, is this thing really worth 1,000,000? Kikuzu's expression was still indifferent, but it was obviously a little painful. Although, if he randomly takes a mission and kills an important person, he can get hundreds or even tens of millions of bounties. But for Kikuzu, every penny is his flesh. Hee, if I told you, this thing is worth at least hundreds of millions of taels, would you believe it? Chin-Yu laughed dryly. 6 Paths Ninja Gear. This is an awesome ninja tool that appeared in the 4th Ninja War in the original book. In the end, if Tenten hadn't exhausted his luck in marrying, he would become the king of leeks with the fate of being a single dog all his life. Once the 6 Paths Ninja tool spreads out again, it will definitely create another big boss. Hundreds of millions of taels. Kikuzu was stunned. In his conception, that's a lot of money. In normal times, at least dozens of people were killed to get this astronomical sum. If Chin-Yu can spend 1,000,000 in exchange for 100 million, this is simply a huge pie. 101,000,000 taels. After holding back for a while, the soil spider gave Chin-Yu a vicious look and said. However, just as the eyes fell on Chin-Yu's body, the voices that followed made everyone's cheeks twitch. 2,000,000 taels. Chin-Yu raised his hand with a smile and said, do you still have money, or in the next round, I will call less and let you call a few more times. Kai Guguo's provocation made the soil spider's face suffocate Yuhi, and the clansmen standing behind him drew their knives towards each other. The cold light shone on the blade, adding an inexplicable depression to the scene. Stop. The earth spider stared at Chinyu coldly, and after pressing down with his big hand, he said, "Boy, don't ask me. My earth spider is a 5th-level bounty hunter in the black market, and there are tens of millions of tails. I'm afraid saying it scares you." "Really?" Chinyu smiled playfully. This scene made other forces who were interested in getting their hands on this banana fan, wishing they could slap the soil spider twice. Knowing that this kid is a dude, he opened his mouth to run the train, and even stimulated him face to face. If something goes wrong, they will directly take the price away again, which is not what they think. However, this idea had just emerged, and the words that fell in the ear the next moment made everyone's cheeks twitch. 20 million, this is my last offer. Any one of you who can quote a higher price can take this thing away. Chinyu said with a smile. Forgot to remind everyone, this time we are all here for the bounty task of Tang Zhiguo. If you spend 20 million to get the awesome artifact, after completing the task, you can get 50 million. This is a win-win. A small voice, at this moment, swept the audience like a hurricane. The eyes of some families who were not very thoughtful at first suddenly brightened. As Chinyu said, this is not a short-term investment, as long as you get the banana fan. Even if the quest of the Land of Soup is solved, it can still be used on other quests in the future. This is a steady stream of wealth. Damn boy, the earth spider nearly gnawed Kiba's teeth. He had this idea from the very beginning, and originally planned to get the banana fan at the lowest price. Now that Chinyu has said it, he can't wait to swallow Chinyu-sheng. However, after feeling the change in the atmosphere in the arena, the earth spider didn't have time to bother with Chinyu, so he raised his hand and shouted sharply, "My earth spider has made 25 million, I hope my friends on the road will save face and take this banana fan. Give it to me. In the future, my soil spider will definitely repay it well." Of course, if there is anyone who doesn't have long eyes, they can bid for it, but I hope he can safely leave the border of the Land of Soup. Having said that, the soil spider looked around the field with a sullen face. I have to say that these ruthless remarks undoubtedly made some weak people and forces dispel their thoughts. However, it does not mean that no one dares to bid. Hee, the idea of the earth spider is so cute, but I, the poisonous bee, are not afraid of your spiders. I will produce 27 million tails. The poisonous bee is a feminine man with a pale face and a golden pattern on his face. There are also more than a dozen so-called clansmen standing behind them, and they seem to be almost the same as the Earth Spider clan. Looking at the tense atmosphere, Kakuzu couldn't help but stagnate and said, "Boss, aren't you determined to win this divine weapon? What you said just now seems to be detrimental to us." In Kakuzu's eyes, this banana fan is very valuable, and the method proposed by Chinyu is also very feasible. But with the smallest cost, in exchange for the largest value, for him. This is the best solution. What Chinyu is doing now has undoubtedly subverted his cognition. Hee, don't worry, we won't participate in the next auction, and this farce won't end so easily, we can just watch the show. Chinyu laughed dryly. Chapter 133 The Crazy Bamboo Clan. Kakuzu looked startled, and was about to ask questions when he heard another voice. "I'll pay 50 million taels." A hoarse voice suddenly sounded, shaking everyone's nerves. After seeing Chinyu's bidding, they thought Chinyu had gone crazy. It's a pity that now suddenly another ruthless character who directly raised the bid from 27 million to 50 million is undoubtedly beyond their understanding. The earth spider and the poisonous bee, who were originally tit for tat, suddenly turned gloomy, and looked at the sound coldly. Chinyu and the others also took advantage of this chance to breathe and saw the person who made the bid. Do not. It should be said that the bidder this time is also a force. There were about 12 or 3 in number, and the middle-aged man who took the lead was wearing a white cloak, with the help of strong eyesight. Chinyu could see the identity of this group of people. It turns out that a group of lunatics has come. It seems that this auction will be really lively, Chinyu said with a smile. Kakuzu was stunned for a moment. He didn't have the improved eyesight of Mangekyo Sharingan, and Chinyu's experience in the original book, so he couldn't tell the identities of these people at a glance. However, before they could speak, the soil spider's face sank, and he took the lead in drinking coldly. You bastard, don't think you can scare us by learning from that kid. My soil spider, in this underground black market, is also a bit prestige. If you say 50 million, I doubt if you can take it out. Of course, if you say that you will deceive the banana fan first, and then make up the money after completing the mission of the Kingdom of Tang, I am afraid that anyone present can do it. Hee, does your excellency mean that you have to bite down and hold on to it? The middle-aged man who took the lead sneered. Kakuzu raised his brows and looked at Chinyu with a hint of surprise. Unlike ordinary people, he has lived for decades, and in addition to rich experience, he is also very sensitive to murderous aura. But he didn't expect Chinyu to see the other party's intention in advance. Hee, I just want to bite you and hold on, so what? The soil spider laughed playfully. However, the moment the smile appeared on his face, he saw the middle-aged man who raised his head and shook off his cloak. The pale complexion is different from the bones of ordinary people, and there are 2 black marks on the forehead. With a pair of wide eyes, people's nerves suddenly tense. Yes, it's a lunatic in the village of Kurigakure, the Taikatori clan. The person with sharp eyes exclaimed first. Kill them all, isn't it 50 million? It's enough for me to get it out of you. The middle-aged man who took the lead jumped out frantically. As a race with one of the Otsutsuki bloodlines, it can be said that the Uchiha clan and the Uzumaki clan have unique strengths. Moreover, the Bamboo clan is good at melee combat and taijutsu. The ability to freely manipulate their own bones and turn them into weapons greatly increases their melee combat strength. It can be said that every member of the Bamboo clan is a powerful taijutsu ninja. Whoosh! The sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded, and more than a dozen ninjas from the Bamboo clan suddenly burst into flames. The movement was as fast as a vigorous cheetah, and during several ups and downs, it landed directly in front of the members of the Earth Spider clan. The middle-aged man who took the lead, tore a hole in the palm of his right hand, and spat out a bone spear as sharp as a spear. Directly stabbed the soil spider in the face. Compared with other ninjas, the first shot is a ninjutsu test. The fighting method of the Taikatori clan is completely simple and rude. Coupled with a suit of bones that can be used flexibly, the offensive has become more fierce than ordinary taijutsu ninjas. Kill me. The Earth Spider's face changed suddenly. He never imagined that in the underground black market, the other party would dare to attack violently. However, the Earth Spider is not an ordinary ninja. Its mouth is agitated like a toad. Between the mouth, a white spider web is like a peacock opening its screen, headed towards the middle-aged man. For a while, the scene was completely chaotic, and some people who didn't want to be affected even pulled away one after another. Come on, let's stop them. The chaotic crowd, Conan's face changed drastically. Especially seeing the members of the Bamboo clan who are like wolves entering the flock, unscrupulously attacking others. It was completely unbearable. Conan is right. If we can subdue the madmen of the Taikatori clan, our prestige for Akatsuki will also increase. In their eyes, this is a wonderful opportunity to stand out. Therefore, as soon as this proposal came out, it was immediately seconded by others. Are you going to die? Chinyu's voice suddenly sounded. Looking at the chaotic crowd, Chinyu and the 2 stood motionless in the field like rocks. With that kind smile on his face, Kuraki couldn't help but stunned and shouted in displeasure, "Boy, are you contemptuous of us Akatsuki?" Master Conan, but he has the strength of Jonin, and the Earth Spider is the leader of the Earth Spider clan, and he has Kekkei Genkei. The leader of the Bamboo clan has been subdued by the Earth Spider, and the others are even less afraid. This is a good opportunity to form an alliance with the hidden world. Speaking of which, Kingmu was the first to lose his temper and shouted violently, "Do it!" Akatsuki members headed by him rushed out. Conan glanced at Chinyu hesitantly, then took out kunai with his backhand and rushed forward. "Thank you for your kindness, but you underestimate the strength of our Akatsuki. It's a little confusing here, be careful." Conan who dropped these words and rushed into the battle circle instantly. Kakuzu snorted coldly and said, "Boss, they really don't know what's good or bad. However, are the Bamboo clan really that powerful?" For Kakuzu, he has survived for 70 or 80 years. It is not that any race has also encountered it. After all, he is a person who can't afford to be too early. There is no benefit, and he will never provoke people casually. Just look at it, it's not an ordinary Kekkei Genkei. Chinyu smiled playfully. The moment his eyes turned slightly on the field, Conan had already fallen beside the soil spider. The face of Akatsuki's shot. When the Earth Spider was surprised, a trace of indifference appeared on his face, and he laughed heartily. "Little girl, you were late. This kind of opponent, my native spider, can easily be solved." The soil spider took out a chakra machete with his backhand, raised his hand and faced him, and the cocoon entangled by the spider silk slashed down with force. In his eyes, this knife is enough to kill the arrogant people of this Bamboo clan. Chapter 134 Good people are hard to do. The spider patriarch keeps people. Conan exclaimed urgently. She made a move this time, just for a win-win situation, so that the two families could shake hands and make peace. That's what their Akatsuki is all about. Now that the Earth Spider is a killer, Conan's nerves are suddenly tense. It's a pity that she is still a short distance away from the two of them, so she can't keep up with the blocking. The only way is to watch the blade wrapped around chakra and slash directly at the cocoon wrapped around the spider silk. Little girl, you Akatsuki are too naive. On the battlefield, you are either dead or I am dead. How can you stop when you have such a good opportunity? Give me death. The hysterical roar echoed in the sky and the earth, and even the fleeing people couldn't help but stop and looked at the sharp knife. Facing the madman Bamboo clan who provoked trouble, they could not wait to teach them a lesson or two. When the crisp metal collision sound resounded suddenly. The blade wrapped around the chakra easily cut the spider silk, but it gave the Earth Spider an illusion of slicing on the copper wall and the iron wall. The huge anti-shock force made his mouth hurt, and the sparks that spewed out made his pupils shrink. PFF'd. The spider silk cocoon was torn apart instantly, and white bone spurs, like spears, stabbed directly at the body of the soil spider. At such a close distance, all this makes people feel caught off guard, and the soil spider's expression is stiff, and he forgot to shoot for a while. He just stared at the snow-white spikes and stabbed straight at himself. PFF'd. Blood splattered, shining like fireworks. Looking at the body that was pierced in an instant, the Earth Spider's face was full of disbelief. Sorry, but the defense of my bones is comparable to that of fine iron. This is the strongest defense of our Bamboo clan. The sharp bone blade pierced out of the spider silk cocoon, directly cutting the cocoon open. Patriarch Taketori walked out of the cocoon, wearing white bone armor all over his body, like a samurai in armor. However, his suit of armor looked extremely ferocious, with white bone spikes protruding from the back, like a human hedgehog. The chakra knife that the Earth Spider slashed down was being bitten by the bones on the neck of the Patriarch Taketori. That seemingly powerful blow only left a shallow white mark on it. Boss, this is just like a monster. Kakuzu said indifferently with the same expression, as the boss planning to take him as a subordinate. It looks a bit special. In Kakuzu's eyes, Chinyu has a variety of subordinates. However, they all have one thing in common, and that is scary. Whether it's him, or Sasori, or even the ghost shark he hasn't seen yet, maybe it's like this. Kakuzu, are you belittling my vision? Chinyu smiled playfully and said, it should be easy for you to kill him, how many moves would it take? Kakuzu couldn't help but startled and said, within 10 moves, there should be results. For Kakuzu, this taijutsu ninja also has a bone armor that is as strong as iron. It is not easy for ordinary ninjas to subdue them. Kakuzu, who has 5 elements of chakra and a hardened body of Doden earth style. Such an enemy is not difficult to deal with. The unbridled chatter of the two seemed extremely disturbing in such a situation where the needle was falling. Hearing these words, the people present looked at each other in dismay. At first, they just thought that Chinyu was an arrogant dude, but they never thought that at such a critical point, he would dare to make a big deal. In their eyes, this is simply courting death. Hee, it seems that I was lucky this time, and I also met this kind of kid who doesn't know how high the sky is. Patriarch Taketori laughed playfully. I really want to know, he said that he can beat me in 10 strokes, how many strokes do you arrogant person need? 30 strokes, 20 strokes, or the same 10 strokes? Can I say a trick? Chinyu smiled playfully. The small voice swept the audience like a hurricane at this moment, making everyone's nerves tense. Madman. At this moment, this adjective just flashed through everyone's mind. In the face of such a vicious and wicked generation, who dares to say such frivolous words? If he is not a lunatic, he is a fool. This is simply a joke with his own little life. Good boy, you are really arrogant, I hope you don't run away secretly in the middle. Patriarch Taketori smiled playfully, his eyes flashed a ruthless look, he directly raised the bone knife in his hand, and slashed towards the earth spider's neck. Go. This blow, if it really hits, is definitely a dead end. Stop. Conan's expression changed, and he shouted in a hurry. At the same time, the kunai in his hand, with a sudden shake of his slender hand, went straight to block the bone knife. When the crisp metal collision sound suddenly sounded. Under the splash of sparks, the bone knife's offensive suddenly came to a halt. What a little girl, dare to interfere with my good deeds. Patriarch Taketor's face sank, and he shouted sharply, no one can save the person I want to kill. Patriarch Bamboo, the spider was also seriously injured, and you also let out a bad breath. I hope you will be merciful and calm down. Conan pleaded in a hurry. Girl, I made a rude remark just now, you must save me. Two Spider's face was pale, and even his lips were trembling, and his appearance seemed to be dying. Looking at this scene, Conan's face flashed a hint of hesitation, and he subconsciously took a step closer. However, just after this step was taken, the dying earth spider in front of him suddenly burst into flames. The whole person was like a flash of light, a fierce light flashed in the depths of his eyes, and he directly reached out and grabbed Conan's wrist. Under the venting of the giant force, Conan was directly taken flying, and rammed away at the nearby Patriarch Taketori. The violent scene shook everyone's nerves, and even Conan had no idea that the person he was trying to save would betray him at such a critical moment. Looking at the bone spurs so close at hand, Conan couldn't believe that there would be no more blood holes when his small body hit it. This is totally hard for good people to do. Kakuzu. Chinyu glanced at it lightly, as if all this had been expected. Kakuzu's eyes narrowed, and the 5 fingers of his right hand hidden in his sleeve suddenly clenched tightly. At this critical moment, a big hand with black meridians suddenly appeared under Conan's feet, grabbed Conan's ankle, and threw it straight in the direction of Chinyu. This scene surprised everyone. In their eyes, they thought that Chinyu and Kakuzu were just talking on paper, but they never thought that they would really step in at this juncture. And the timing of the shot was so precise, it felt like it was right from the start. Chapter 135 Fuel bottle stand aside. Boom. A dull crash sounded suddenly. Conan just felt his body being thrown away, and saw the world turn upside down, and when he reacted, he realized that he had fallen into someone else's arms. Conan was stunned at this violent scene, then his cheeks quickly turned to Yuhi, and he hurriedly broke free from Chinyu's arms. She lived in the war-torn years, but she knew exactly what the difference between men and women was. Even in the face of Yahiko and Nagato, she didn't feel the same kind of uneasy feeling just now. "Aren't you going to say thank you?" Chinyu smiled playfully. "I saved you." "Thank you." Conan couldn't help but be stunned. It was the first time she had seen someone have the cheek to say thank you. However, what Conan couldn't imagine the most, she said it herself. However, this seemingly flirtatious scene made the soil spider and the patriarch Taketori in the field feel an inexplicable slap in the face. If the earth spider's calculations were seen through, then the patriarch Taketori was the prey that slipped away under his nose. Especially when they were teased by a dude who didn't care about them just a moment ago. For him, it was a shame. "Boy, you've completely angered me." Patriarch Taketori's face sank, and he roared in anger. "If you don't do it now, when will you wait?" The awe-inspiring voice resounded, causing everyone's expressions to change drastically. They thought it was just a one-sided battle, but they never thought that there would be so many twists and turns. "Haha, Bamboo Tori, I thought that you alone would be able to wipe out this group of guys, but I didn't expect you to let me take action." An unbridled laughter suddenly sounded. A figure, like a ghost, rushed behind Chinyu and the two in an instant. The beak-cone-like weapon in his hand was also stained with purple venom, emitting an inexplicable stench. The violent scene shook everyone's nerves, and even Conan's expression changed drastically. She never imagined that the poisonous bee, who had fought against the earth spider just now, would explode at such a juncture. "Conan-sama, be careful," Karaki exclaimed anxiously. Conan's expression tightened when he heard the words, and when he hurriedly looked at it, he realized that the patriarch of Taketori was directly violent. "Before I could think about it, I hurriedly threw 7 or 8 kunai with my backhand." At the same time, both hands flew over, forming a series of spells. "Paper spears." Conan let out a coquettish cry, and a large piece of white paper quickly flew out of his body, and the next moment it condensed into a spear. As Conan's 5 fingers clenched suddenly, the paper spear shot towards the patriarch of Taketori, and instantly broke through the air. "Little girl, your ninjutsu is really surprising, but if you want to beat me with these 3-legged cat kung fu alone, it's still too naive." Taketori patriarch smiled grimly. Looking at the incoming attack, he didn't take it to heart at all. The moment the meteor struck with a big stride, it hit him head-on. Clang clang. The crisp metal collision sounded, and sparks splashed. The shuriken was knocked over and flew out, and the paper spear was hit by the backhand of the patriarch Taketori at will. A distance of tens of meters, in this rampant situation, is only a few short breaths. When Conan watched his attack, he was instantly disintegrated and stunned. Feeling the tightness of the shoulders, the big hands were directly buckled on the shoulders, and they were directly taken and flew 7 or 8 meters away. "The oil bottle should be obediently standing aside, don't hinder others from fighting," Chinyu said lightly. Chapter 136 really hit. Conan, who was thrown away, just stood firm and hurriedly looked at Chinyu. Seeing that the patriarch Bamboo, who had attacked her, was less than 3 or 4 meters away from Chinyu, the fierceness and playfulness on her face tightened her nerves. In Conan's eyes, Chinyu was in such a dangerous place, all because of rescuing her. The patriarch Taketori was also surprised, but the next moment he couldn't help laughing, and a fierce light flashed in the depths of his pupils. Boy, since you like to be a hero, then I will send you to be one on Huang Izumi Road. The words fell, and the 5 fingers of the right hand of the patriarch bamboo suddenly clenched tightly, instantly turning into a long bone knife about a foot long. Without any bells and whistles, he slashed straight towards Chinyu's neck. However, Chinyu and Kakuzu were dumbfounded in the face of the combined attack of the poisonous bee and the bamboo tori, without the slightest evasion and defense. If the strange scene made the onlookers tense their nerves, the patriarch bamboo and the thin poisonous bee showed hideous smiles on their faces. In their eyes, the next will be a one-shot victory. The 2 people in front of them are indeed foxes and tigers. When 2 crisp metal collision sounds resounded suddenly, which seemed a bit abrupt in this fatal situation. It seemed like an invisible big hand gripping people's hearts tightly. Looking at the bone knife that was splitting forcefully, it was isolated by the purple airwave at a distance of an inch away from Chinyu. The iron cone stained with venom directly touched Kakuzu's back and couldn't penetrate a single trace. This bizarre scene made one couldn't help but take a deep breath. You broke my clothes, how are you going to pay? Chinyu raised his head suddenly. Hidden under the cloak, the pair of Gorilla Yuhi's bloody eyes immediately met his gaze. This is Jugo. You are blood. The patriarch Zutori's pupils shrank suddenly, his face full of disbelief. However, before he could finish his words, Chinyu smiled warmly. You guessed it right, you can't afford it. Kill it. The small voice seemed to be filled with magical sounds at this moment. Boss, I've been waiting for this sentence for a long time. Kakuzu grinned grimly, and the cloak wriggled instantly. One after another, the jet-black meridians shot out, turning into a large net and shrouding the poisonous bee's head on. At the same time, Chinyu also moved instantly. When the right hand was entangled with lightning, the sound of crackling electric current echoed. Chinyu's right hand protruded like lightning and grabbed the face armor of the patriarch Taketori. Without any bells and whistles, it slammed down suddenly towards the place. Raiden Thunder style, heavy storm. Boom. The tyrannical force was released like a dike. Under the entanglement of thunder, the patriarch Taketori smashed to the ground like a meteor from the sky. The 100-meter ground sank suddenly, and the next moment it shattered directly. The air wave that was set off rolled back, and the gravel flew down, forming a dust storm. The people present only felt the whole ground shake. After reacting, the huge square has been turned into ruins. 2 figures stand in the center. Kakuzu has already opened a distance of more than 10 meters, and the tentacle-like resentment behind him has long since pierced the body of the poisonous bee like countless spears. Gorilla Yuhi came out, and it was swallowed up by the blood vessel like a whale. As for the ruins, the patriarch Taketori, who was originally known as an absolute defense, had a crack in the bone armor all over his body. The next moment, as if a chain reaction had occurred, a spider web-like crack spread out. With the crisp sound of breaking, the absolute defense shattered. This scene made everyone's pupils shrink suddenly. The boy in front of him was not lying. The Taketori patriarch was killed in one blow. Chapter 137_I also like kind women. Who are these 2 people? They can kill the bamboo patriarch and the poisonous bee with one blow. This strength is at least the level of an elite jonin, and when Taketori was at the end, he seemed to be terrified. The scene was in an uproar, and this scene was beyond their expectations. As for the people from the Bamboo Clan and the 2 Spider Clan who were still fighting, they hurriedly ran away after being absent for a moment. Don't run away, save me quickly. The Soil Spider, who was severely injured by the bone spear, panicked. Murdered Conan just now, and this sentence used up most of his strength. Most importantly, the moment Kakuzu takes Conan away. The big hand connected by black blood vessels tightly clasped his ankle. No matter how hard he struggled, there was no way to get rid of it. Kakuzu and Chinyu with the help of the poisonous bee and the patriarch of Taketori, and he could also find an opportunity to escape. Not being able to kill for a moment or three can also allow him to find opportunities in the melee. Unfortunately, the scene in front of him completely subverted his cognition. Even the patriarch of the poison bee and the bamboo clan was killed by one move, not to mention him. Feeling the gaze that fell on his body, the soil spider instantly felt like he was sitting on pins and needles, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Kakuzu, he should still be useful. Chinyu looked at Kakuzu. These words fell, the earth spider's face immediately became happy, and he said excitedly, "Sir, as long as you don't kill me, the whole earth spider family can be used by you. As long as you want, I can give you anything." In the face of this kind of life and death disaster, let alone being a slave or a horse, even if he betrayed the entire ethnic group, he would not mind. "If you say that, I'm welcome." Chinyu smiled warmly. "Just now, the banana fan was raised by you to 27 million. I just didn't have enough money, but your words just now made the last trace of unbearable in my heart disappear. Kakuzu, let's borrow his head and put together the bounty from Bamboo Tori and Poison Bee, shouldn't that be enough?" The small voice, at this moment, seemed to be infused with a magic sound, making everyone's expressions change dramatically. Originally, in their eyes, Chinyu was just a playboy. Never thought that when this Kiba was exposed, it would be so ferocious and ferocious. "No, you can't kill me, I can't die." The happy look on the soil spider's face instantly stiffened, and he quickly took out a medicine with his backhand and stuffed it into his mouth. The moment the swallow fell on his stomach, the earth spider's expression instantly became hideous. Blue veins bulged, the whole body swelled in a circle, and the wounds on the body healed quickly to stop the overflow of blood. The strange scene immediately surprised everyone. Looking at the change in appearance in an instant, if the beast-like soil spider has obviously subverted their cognition. However, as soon as the earth spider was used as a means of pressing the bottom of the box, it was too late to think about it, and it turned around and ran away. This medicine seems to be very effective, but in the face of Chinyu and Kakuzu, the powerful and unparalleled means, the earth spider obviously has no fighting spirit. The only idea is to get away as soon as possible. However, as soon as the pace was taken, there was a squirming underground, and the blood vessels were pitch black as ink, like sharp thorns. It turned into a big net and tangled towards him head-on. The most unexpected thing is that in these black blood vessels, there is also a hideous mask of Yuhi color. This is the undead Kakuzu. Those with sharp eyes can see the clue in an instant. Facing this legendary figure in the underground black market, they finally understood who the earth spider had offended. "Stay here." Conan's face changed drastically. As long as you are in the underground black market, most of them have heard the name of the undead Kakuzu. However, the moment she blurted out these words, she was interrupted by Chinyu's gaze. "I like people with kindness, but I hope you won't be killed by kindness," Chinyu said lightly. Kakuzu clasped his hands together suddenly, and the tyrannical chakra exploded like a frenzy. Kaden, fire style, head hard. Ka ka ka. The mask hidden in the black blood vessels suddenly opened its mouth. Under the fiery chakra, large flames, like a frenzy, attacked the blood-veined soil spider. "Do not want." The soil spider struggled and growled hysterically. However, all this seems pale. After letting him take the secret medicine, his power has greatly increased. It's a pity that all efforts are pale and powerless under the attack and the huge gap in strength. The sea of fire drowned the soil spider in an instant, and the waves of fire that rolled backwards spread all around. The people who stayed around to watch were immediately alarmed by the scene in front of them, and they hurriedly grabbed their way and fled. However, this place is deep underground, and there are only 2 tunnels around it that can pass through, so too many people can't escape for a while. Chinyu looked at this scene, and his eyes turned to the tattooed man on the high platform. The moment the lightning flashed on his body, he disappeared into place out of thin air. The sudden scene caused the complexion of many people who had been paying attention to Chinyu to change dramatically. After recovering, he had already seen Chinyu appear beside the tattooed man on the high platform. "Big Sir, what's the matter with you?" The tattooed man's face turned pale. Looking at Chinyu, who killed the 3 powerful men in an instant, and even the legendary bounty hunter Kakuzu, also known as the Adult. This kind of existence, but even the underground black market dare not despise. You can also see that the 3 of them were killed by me, and the reward added up is enough to equal the value of this thing. Chinyu grabbed the banana fan and said, "Of course, if you don't say enough, I can go more. Bring back some heads." As soon as he finished speaking in the second half, the tattooed man turned pale and waved his hand hurriedly. "Sir, this is enough." In front of this young man who easily killed the Taikatori patriarch with one move, he was worried, and he could not even keep his head on his neck. Chinyu took the banana fan, and the moment he received it, he felt an ice cold coming through his body. But at the moment when chakra penetrated, Chinyu could easily find that a powerful booster seal was clearly placed on the banana fan. To exert the full power of this banana fan, it is not only necessary to have a strong chakra as a benchmark. Necessary to completely eliminate the restrictions in the banana fan of the master. Just as Chinyu frowned and pondered the solution, a long-lost voice sounded in his mind. "Ding dang, it is detected that the host has obtained the 6 paths ninja banana fan, whether the proficiency level is full with 1 click." Chapter 138-1 click full proficiency. The ethereal voice, without the slightest emotion, made Chinyu's brows a little more joyful. "I thought that getting this 6 paths ninja tool would not be able to come in handy immediately, and it would take a lot of hard practice to be able to use it. For Chinyu, this is tasteless." Unexpectedly, the 1-click full level system can easily full level even the proficiency. Full level immediately. Chinyu did not hesitate and gave the order directly. "Ding dong, please wait a moment." "Ding dong, congratulations to the host for successfully completing the full level with 1 click, and obtaining the full level of proficiency in the 6 paths ninja fan." A warm current circulated in Chinyu's mind. Chinyu instantly understood what he understood about this banana fan. Even the chakra, which was originally circulating, was not smooth, and instantly reached the point where people and fans became one. "Call." Chinyu sighed and looked at the rapidly spreading flames. His right hand suddenly clenched his fingers. There was a sudden burst of flames in front of him. Boom. There was a roar in the air, and ripples appeared in the air ahead. After feeling the plantain fan whale swallowing 1/10 of the chakra, a huge tidal wave of water attribute chakra exploded instantly. The huge waves were surging into the sky, turning into raging waves and rushing out, and with a rolling gesture, they took pictures of the flames that swept in front of them. The violent scene shook everyone's nerves. I didn't have time to think about it, so I quickly took a breath and ran away frantically. Although there is no raging flames, facing such a tsunami-like attack, it is equally fatal. "Konan-sama, let's run away too." Karaki's face turned pale, and his expression was also mixed with a trace of anxiety. Not long ago, he had spoken unkindly to Chinyu, and if the account was settled after the fall, it would be a nightmare. Konan glanced hesitantly at Chinyu's back, opened his mouth before he could say anything, and finally turned around and ran away. Outside, the earth reverberated with a roaring earthquake. The tattooed guard at the entrance was startled at first, but then he realized something was wrong. He hurriedly turned his head and looked behind him, and what he saw was the stone gate that was smashed by the water waves. Boom! 2 stone gates weighing hundreds of pounds were thrown straight out. The water waves soared into the sky like a volcanic eruption, and even the guards who could not avoid them were directly swept away in this unexpected wave. The ninjas in the underground black market were also drawn out one after another. Some of them were well versed in water and even performed auxiliary ninjutsu. Obviously, there was no serious problem. Some people poured a large belly of water directly under the offensive, and the whole person fell into a coma. The huge volume of water rolled back around, and the figures of 5-6 paths flashed out of the water waves and landed wetly on the big tree beside them. Don't look at Mr. Conan, we have been delayed for a long time, and the reward mission is too important for us, we should hurry up and complete the mission first. King Mu urged urgently. Conan hesitated, bit Yuhi's lip quickly, nodded, turned and walked away. After they left, the huge ruins of the town and the tide also dissipated. Many people stood up in an unusually embarrassed manner, looking at the ruined and deserted town, their faces filled with bitterness. They couldn't help but look at the entrance of the underground black market. Looking at the slow walk out, especially the banana fan with big hair Kamui in Chin Yu's hand, many people's eyes flashed a trace of fire. With a single swing of this fan, it can exert the power of Sweeten, water style, which is second only to S-rank ninjutsu. No wonder the auctioneer will give such a high evaluation. If you let me get it, look at the ninja world. Not many people can stand against me. Quote. A ninja's face showed fiery heat, looking at the banana fan in Chin Yu's hand, greed flashed in the depths of his pupils. However, as soon as this idea came to mind, it soon caused the big man behind him to slap him in the head. Are you crazy? You want to court death, but don't drag us into the water. Is this kind of existence that can kill Jonin at your fingertips, is it something we can provoke? Stop daydreaming, let's hurry up and leave. If this killer doesn't agree with us, it will be a nightmare. As soon as these words fell, the faces of the people present instantly turned pale. Many people who were still holding other greedy thoughts flashed hotly in their eyes and hurried away. For a time, the originally bustling underground black market soon became empty. Even some members of the black market, after looking at Chin Yu and the two with deep fear, quickly ran away. Boss, it seems that the little girl you liked has left. Kakuzu looked up and said indifferently. Eyes fell on the banana fan and said, however, the boss's eyes are really sharp, and he can actually see that this fan is different. The breath that erupted from the fan just now makes me feel the smell of danger. Boss, the power of this fan has not been fully exerted, has it? For Kakuzu's curiosity, Chin Yu did not take it to heart. After all, it took more than 27 million taels to get it. Although this money does not need to be paid on him, if this banana fan is not powerful, it will be unexpected. I am afraid that his flesh was cut off. I only played half of it, but it has already consumed 1/10 of my chakra. Chin Yu put the banana fan into the ninjutsu storage scroll space with his backhand. For Chin Yu, this banana fan is very good, but if it is like a peacock opening its screen, it will be a bit ostentatious. Moreover, the huge consumption of chakra by this banana fan also made Chin Yu more urgent to get the cells of the first generation of Hokage in the hands of Orochimaru. As long as the cells of the original Hokage are absorbed, Chin Yu's Mangekyo Sharingan will transform into Rinnegan. At that time, Chin Yu's chakra volume will skyrocket to another level. At the same time, the strength will also jump further. Half the power. Kakuzu was also a little surprised. Sweetened water style just now has caught up with his full blow. If it is only half, then the power of the banana fan will be fully exerted, and the power will skyrocket. However, after hearing the blow just now, 1/10 of Chin Yu's chakra was consumed. This made Kakuzu give up trying. Also, Kakuzu is not stupid. This banana fan has been in the hands of the black market for so long. If they were to discover the true power, no one would give up such treasures. This shows that in order to exert the true power of the banana fan, I am afraid that some means are needed. I'm afraid that only the boy in front of him, who can't see the depth of it, can do it. Hee, there are quite a few people with a lot of chakra, and you are not bad, but you will find out later that some people can be called human-tailed beasts. Chinyu patted Kakuzu on the shoulder. Let's go, or leave Konoha for too long and I'm afraid there will be another good show. Chapter 139 The Forced Palace of the Uchiha Clan. Konoha Shinobi Village, inside the Hokage office. The three advisors gathered here. However, compared to Homura Mitokado and Kaharu, half of Danzo's body was bandaged and looked a bit miserable. The only remaining left eye, staring straight at the third generation of Hokage in the first place, made the atmosphere extremely depressing. Jiraiya and Tsunade, who were standing on the side, fell into silence, looking at the teacher from time to time. Sarutobi, what's the matter? Haven't found the whereabouts of Uchiha Chinyu yet? Danzo said with a sneer. You kept your promise that he wouldn't defect. It's been 3 days now. I've said it long ago, Uchiha is an evil family. This is what the teacher said that day. Did you forget it? Having said that, Danzo looked at Jiraiya and said, if you all cooperated with me to make a shot that day, he would have nowhere to escape. Now those lunatics of the Uchiha clan actually started the first generation of Hokage that day, and left a promise and decree, demanding that the Hokage election be held in advance, intending to win the Hokage position. This is simply wishful thinking. These words fell, everyone looked at each other in dismay. They were also caught off guard by the sudden action of the Uchiha family. Although, as Hokage, he will not interfere with the changes in the position of the Uchiha clan's patriarch. However, Uchiha Fugaku was abruptly replaced, and Uchiha Shi took over as the patriarch. This kind of operation really surprised them. Danzo, don't be impatient, your injury has just begun to recover, and such a big fight will have an impact on your condition. 3 generations of Hokage persuaded. Humph. Danzo snorted coldly, Sarutobi, of course you want me to calm down a bit so that I can sit in a more stable Hokage position. However, don't forget that the first Hokage of the day knew that in Konoha Ninja Village, most people did not trust the Uchiha family, so they set up 2 rules to make up for the resentment in Uchiha Madara's heart. First, if the contemporary patriarchs and elders of the Uchiha clan, and even all members of the clan, are jointly recommended, they will be eligible to run for the position of Hokage. Secondly, in order to get the Hokage position, in addition to getting a 50% approval rate, you also need to be in the Konoha Ninja Village, with enough strength to convince everyone. Those 3 old guys, who have been slow to attack, are still hiding in the clan, just to wait for this opportunity. For a long time, the Uchiha family has produced a lot of geniuses, but White Fang, Sannin, Minato, etc. are all able to overwhelm them. Without absolute certainty, those old guys are arrogant and do not care about the world, but now it can be counted. Kiba is exposed, and under these conditions, ask yourselves who can suppress that kid. The slightly elusive voice reverberated in the office, causing the expressions of the people present to change. Danzo's words sounded very annoying, but it was not without reason. Now the 3 elders of the Uchiha clan have forced the palace with the promise of the first Hokage. This makes it impossible for them to refuse. No, we still have Minato. As long as he learns sage art and cooperates with Hiraishin's technique, his strength will definitely skyrocket. Kaharu said suddenly. Although you mentioned it, Uchiha Chinyu's talent can be called a monster-like existence. However, Jiraiya, who was present, was carrying sage art, and was very aware of the difficulty of learning it. Uchiha Chinyu only entered Mount Myoboku for a short period of time, so I expected that he must not have learned sage art, or Mount Myoboku refused to guide. Chapter 140 Going as planned. Kaharu, do you mean to let Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Chinyu compete for the Hokage position? Danzo's eyes turned cold. Danzo has always been determined to get the Hokage position. If it weren't for a Sarutobi Hiruzen pressing him on the head, he would never be able to swallow this breath. However, now that the wait is over, the old stubborn Uchiha clan demanded in advance for a Hokage campaign. Danzo thought the opportunity would fall on his head. Unexpectedly, even his closest comrade in arms, Kaharu Udatane, one of the three advisors, is also inclined towards Namikaze Minato. Danzo, among the younger generation, only Namikaze Minato can compete with Uchiha Chinyu. Could it be that you have a better candidate? Kaharu Udatane looked at Danzo. HMPH, I'm alone, and you all think that a guy in his early 20s is qualified for the Hokage position, what else can I say? Danzo snorted coldly and stood up. You can handle this matter yourself. I'll go back first. I hope you don't cause any trouble. Those words behind, Danzo turned and left. Looking at this back, the three generations of Hokage's expression became solemn. Sarutobi, do you think Danzo will stop here? Homura Mitokado couldn't hold his breath. For a time, everyone's eyes locked on him. Feeling the change in the surrounding atmosphere, the three generations of Hokage helplessly shook his head and said, I really want Danzo to be less troublesome. But, with his character, I'm afraid it's impossible. Next, Jiraiya, you continue to contact Minato, hoping to get in touch as soon as possible. Third generation of Hokage paused for a while, then looked at Tsunade and said, Tsunade, during this time, I hope you can stay in the village. If time permits, find out Chinyu's whereabouts. I don't believe he would just walk away like this. With the falling of orders one after another, the huge Konoha ninja village made waves again. After Danzo left the Hokage office, he went straight back to the route's old location. Although the route was forcibly disbanded by the three generations of Hokage, under the operation of the past decades, Danzo still retains a group of dead men, just to cope with the current situation. Danzo, looking at your expression, I'm afraid it won't be your turn for Hokage this time. Orochimaru came out in the dark. The orangutan Yuhi licked his tongue lightly on his lips, and said, since your dream has failed again, are we going according to the original plan? Humph. Danzo snorted coldly, clenching the crutches in his hand and said, Orochimaru, this is my business, and you don't need to ask. Since they don't value me, I have to use my own method to maintain peace in Konoha. Following Danzo's decision, Konoha instantly fell into the Uzumaki of the three major forces. At the same time, the famous house in the country of soup. A man wearing a black robe and holding a sickle of the orangutan Yuhi stuck out the tongue of the orangutan Yuhi and swept the blood from the blade. No, don't kill me, I shouldn't put a reward on you in the black market. As long as you don't kill me, I can respect the evil god cult as the state religion. A fat man was half lying on the ground, with a tear-like wound on his abdomen, and blood gushed out. If people in the underground black market see it, they will definitely find that this fat man is the key person in this reward. The dignified and famous mansion of the Tang dynasty was directly breached. Once this incident spreads, it will definitely make the entire ninja world a sensation.